because now I'm not connected through Mob Crush. Okay, so now allow me to go into the Discord to make you guys able to be heard. So I need one of you to speak into the mic consistently, and then... Okay. Okay, so you still can't hear your voices on stream. You're all just so quiet. Why? Okay, so I'm gonna explain. The desktop audio is completely up. The Discord audio output device is at 200%. I think it might be your exact, like, things, so let me turn you both up. Okay, so David's at max, Jeb's at max. Fuck! Shut up! Give me like a second. You still can't hear yourself?
No. I can't feel my face when I'm with you.
I see some pretty high bars coming through desktop audio.
I can barely hear it in the stream. Barely. I'm fucking quiet as shit. Yeah, I can't even hear myself.
Why is the stream not picking up your audio? Why?
No, I can hear it in the stream, but it's like insane.
Go into
stream, David.
you have Discord turned on?
No, Discord is all the way up. Discord's all the way up on the volume mixer.
David, but you're like really quiet.
Is that better?
Hello? No, nothing.
I'll wait for the audio to come through and I'll see if it's.
Dude.
Yep, that's good. I heard myself.
I had to turn up OBS volume. You're actually peaking now.
Yeah, it's coming through like, yeah, it's great now. It's loud.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean,
except I'm like really loud actually.
Yeah, so I need to turn... I'm going to turn you guys both back down to 100%. And we're going to see how that works, because that's how you're supposed to be. So, try it now.
Yeah. Seeing how it's going to sound.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah.
Speaking.
Hello?
Okay.
This one take a minute. Fuck.
Actually, I mean, if anybody wants to change it from there, they can turn down the volume themselves.
It's good.
It's
good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So I figured out the problem. What I had to do was go into volume mixer. Discord was all the way up, but OBS was all the way down. And I don't know why OBS was all the way down.
1.5 minutes, hold on.
1.5? I can only give you one. Yo, David. I'm gonna be real with you. This is the most technical difficulties I've ever had on stream.
Yeah, that's how it be when things like this happen.
But dude,
it always happens.
This stuff only started happening once I moved around my desk setup. Like, for real, it's so bad.
Alright, well, I think we're good. We just gotta get all the shit set up and then we'll be fucking Gucci ready to go.
Let me see if I have any programs open, downloading, whatever. Exit. Exit. Oh, fuck. Exit the Unreal Engine.
I just love hearing my voice, bro.
Make
I
me.
have the most manliest, nice sounding voice ever, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Everybody's swooning when they hear your voice.
I know, right?
Like,
Close Skype.
Just falling over.
Okay, so I think I've eliminated anything that might be causing a network issue. But
Yeah.
you're like, am I still?
Dude, I swear to God, I'm hearing you in the fucking stream, and then I'm answering you in the fucking Discord. Gonna think you just repeated yourself, bruh. I'm fucking dead.
But am I still the same volume as you two, or are you guys louder or quieter?
Yeah. Pretty even, actually.
It's pretty even.
Uh,
Okay. I
Fucking,
mean, I'm peeking around the yellow
you're
section
good.
and a bit into red. You guys, every
You're
time you
good.
talk, you're just going straight to red.
Yeah,
Ryder,
you're good.
turn us down, honestly, because we're still a little loud.
Okay, I can turn you down through the desktop audio, but I really don't want to do that because if I do that, they might
Just keep it loud to be safe, bro. Keep it loud to be safe.
Okay.
But I don't want to be like the loudest one there. Turn me down, like specifically in Discord or something like that, just a little bit.
I'm gonna turn you
Because I
down
know,
to 90.
yeah, I'm
You know
allowed.
what?
I'm way
Same. Turn
louder
me
than
down
you,
like
and then
just like 10%.
Bro, David, you're sitting here at 200.
Yeah, turn me down like to like 150.
I'm gonna turn you down to
Yeah.
100 and let's see how that does.
Okay. Yeet.
speaking. Yeah, before that, David was
What?
booming.
My massive muscular
Yeah, it's good. It's perfect.
body. Ooh. Okay.
Mm.
I'm gonna grab some water just so I don't fucking die on stream.
Shut the fuck up, Damn, Michael. I'm hearing what he is saying, but in the fucking stream.
I know, dude. It's fucking with me.
What? Am I saying like the same shit
Like,
over and
I'm
over?
going to get water, and then I was
Heard
like,
it, and it was
okay,
like
a few
I
minutes,
didn't hear
like a
what he
minute
said.
later, I'm going to get water, and I was like, you just said that.
Look, don't call me
I
out
didn't hear you
on
the
my
first time.
repetition in voice, okay? I'm like a loudspeaker. I
First
go
time,
off
but
the
then you
sides of
said something.
caves.
Oh. For minutes,
Michael,
anybody
why are you
else want to
saying
say
don't call me out a lot, bro?
Nick,
Stop repeating yourself.
something?
you guys are like, oh, there's two Michaels. Oh,
I'm just kidding. That's okay if they are.
oh, I see an enemy. Oh, oh,
Who's the enemy?
oh, 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 oh,
Rada Rada.
oh.
Okay, what time is it? Is it?
It's
We got like.
1:57. Okay, you ready,
Steve?
David?
Yep, I'm ready. Just
Mm-hmm.
make sure your screen and everything is all good before we go, though.
Everything's good. Everything's good. The most I'm gonna have to do is I think I have to hide the sidebar so that we don't get like a ton of people getting doxxed. How do I even do that? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It'll bring people to the community. Except when it comes to your discords, because your discords are gonna be fucked.
Alright.
Hey. What? You ready to go in and say your greetings, and
Yep.
then I'll mute my mic for this part, and then
Do that greeting stuff. No, okay, no,
and
I'll
then we
be
can
there.
begin the cast as soon as it's ready. Okay. That
Alright,
sound
cool.
fine?
Alright.
I think I wasn't paying attention. Nice. I'm nervous.
Alright. Alright.
Hello. Yes.
Alright.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Am I?
Yeah,
And
seriously.
thank you for letting me do it.
Alright.
I have no idea. Hmm?
Oh, Xanth.
Companions of Xanth.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then we can just drop images into the Discord as long as they're stream safe.
There's no crotch stuff, though.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like crotch stuff.
Alright. Alright.
Drim.
Yo, Michael, unmute so we make sure these dudes are like sounding good and everything real quick.
Go really quick, just speak into your mics, and if you're already watching the stream, go ahead and like gauge your own audio if you want.
Testing.
Okay.
We're just making sure that you guys are all good, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Earlier on, like my older streams didn't have this issue. It's like these newer streams that are having this like microphone issue.
I think my audio level is about right, if a little loud.
Let's see what the audio
I can-
testing is like.
Absolutely.
I can bring you down about 10%. I had you
Dang.
sitting at a 200 earlier, so
Alright, we're here. I'm good.
it was more because of the Bluetooth mic you
Yes.
had the other day. I had to turn you up so I was
That's
able to hear
well.
you.
Well, it turns out I was taking feed from the headset that was on the floor.
Oh.
Okay.
Now I'm wearing it.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say that you sound like a lot better this time, bro.
I
Are my
spent like
words and talk voice coming in well?
Is anyone like constantly viewing the stream right now? Able to tell if Andrew's voice is coming through?
His voice.
Yes,
his
it is.
voice, His voice is coming in well.
Okay. I'm
There's
just
like a
making-
15-second.
Ooh, I sound like an old man.
There's like a 15-second stream delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
I turned it on 15 seconds instead of like directly because if I have it going side by side, then it will be,
Okay.
I guess, laggy. So that fixes a bit
Maybe
of
still,
our issues.
still a little bit loud.
All right.
Okay. So is everybody okay with your situations?
One of them's still a little bit loud. I don't know which one it was. But
Is it me?
Am I of the loud?
here, let me find out.
Okay.
In the stream again. Yeah, it's the first one.
Hey, it's me.
The one who's yeah.
It's Sky.
I sound muffled.
I'll bring you down to 130. That should be okay.
All right. Everything sounds
Okay. So go to
Alright.
live scene. I feel perfect. So we have 6 concurrent viewers right now. That's gonna be nice.
Well, I
You
linked
might be
it
one
to
of them.
our Discord.
Okay. So hopefully we have some of the Farnham Fables or Farnham Fable fans in this Discord, or not.
Pronounce
I don't know
Farnham.
what I'm saying. Farnham? Oh, I've been
Yeah,
calling
Farnham.
it like Farnham.
Basically like the old drunk guy from Diablo.
Oh. Okay.
And yes, that is where I got the name from.
Ah, interesting.
Can a feller drink in peace? It wasn't until a few months ago I finally learned that's what he was saying. Before I thought he was saying something like, Fanner fell drinking this? And I was like, why is he pronouncing his own name as Fanner?
Making sure everything's correct. We have everybody on. The screen's aligned.
Oh, I see
Torchfire
stuff.
said some. Torchfire said some people had loud voices and lower voices, but we'll figure it out through the stream, I guess.
Both.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can gauge yourself during the stream. I feel like everything is like kind of along the
Well,
lines.
I
of
don't
where
have
want
the
it.
ability. I don't have the ability to push stream to right channel and Discord to left channel,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's the only way I could actually figure out what's what.
I hate stereo. I like mono.
I feel you, fam. I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
My microphone comes in mono. Let's see. I'm looking for
I just hate that I don't.
Mono means one, and rail means rail. Simpsons.
Holy fuck, we're actually doing the interview.
Hey, David.
Hype.
Said a naughty word.
Hey, David.
Interviewification.
What?
You want to read the opener that I sent you?
What opener?
Opener.
I sent David an opener. I just need him to read it so I can have a beginning point.
Where'd you send it to me?
I sent it to you through Messenger.
Messenger? Okay.
So I did play through a few of the games in the time that we have talked since last time Sky.
Yay.
So
Oh yeah.
and I did not skip through this time. I sat there and played a lot of the game. Okay.
Hooray.
I truthfully did enjoy the fourth one. That was probably my favorite of the series.
Yay. Hands waving in excitement. I'm a major Farnham Fables fan.
Farnham Foobles.
Hopefully.
Farnham Foobles. Flippable Fleeples.
What are you saying, Jeb?
I was saying that I had played all four of them like in depth multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and all of them.
Yo, Michael, it ain't there,
I
but
didn't
let's
really
just...
figure out.
What do you
order
mean
that
it
I liked
ain't
them in
there?
Best, but
It ain't
I
here,
like-
bro.
I
Let's
like
just
them.
go ahead and
Bruh,
just
it is there.
start it, bro. It ain't here.
Yeah, it was. You straight up went right over it.
Oh, okay. Alright. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hat Channel. Today we'll be interviewing the developer of Farnham Fables and the PR manager.
I like hats too.
Alright.
HAT is actually an acronym for How About That?
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that hat?
About that.
I wear a
Interesting.
hat.
It's interesting topics. That's why it's named HAT. So, anyway, nice to see you two. I hope you're in good health.
When I'm awake.
Hoping.
Okay. So
I hope I'm in good health.
So the first thing I'd like to
Better
start
be.
with is Andrew. We have not spoken
Yo.
previous to this. Tell me a bit about yourself.
I'm a red mage.
You're a red
Um,
mage.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
very
it's-
accurate.
My name's Andrew Tellini. I'm left-handed. I like lizard girls, and I like making video games because it's my life of game making the thing with games. There was a sentence in there somewhere. It's like I just spilled a pile of Legos, and you got to build it.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew Tellini.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Andrew, what inspired you to make Farnham Fables?
Farnham. Learn.
Farnham. Farnham.
Farnham.
It's an addiction, okay? I can't.
My mind goes blank. No, let's see. Well, a lot of things. It's how do I storyatize this?
You don't have to
So-
storyize it. You can just ramble if you would like.
Oh, I'm a rambler, all right. Well, I'd say technically the first Farnham Fables is actually the pilot episode, which you can find on the website. It's basically the same as the first episode, but with more 64 color-ish instead of 216 colors, and pixels the size of hands. And so basically, Farnham Fables, I would say, is there everyone's put it. It's a home for homeless characters. Along the lines of Discord note. Where was I? Oh yeah, so it's basically me and Eric had come up with a lot of characters and stories, but never really had a place for them. And so creating what got me making the first Farnham Fables game was actually the first time Eric had broken contact with me, which, how do I put this? He didn't do the right thing, but he was right that something had to be done, because I really had to get my act together. I wasn't making games like I should be doing. I was slacking off. So I created the pilot episode of Farnham Fables, which actually got it done in 10 days, and I'd hoped that would get him to reconnect with me. It didn't. But a year later, I made episode 1, and that worked. But then there was another disconnect, but my going to his place way out west helped.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
but basically the gist of Farnham Fables, it's we come up with all these characters and story ideas, and never really had, I guess, like a solid base for them. Like, for example, well, episode 6 is going to be like a sort of courtroom drama, and that came from my love of the Ace Attorney games, and I wanted to make my own style of an Ace Attorney series, but I couldn't figure out beyond like one or two cases. So when I made Farnham Fables, I was like, oh, I can just make it one of the episodes here.
Yeah.
Sort of like a hodgepodge of diddly do.
Yeah. Then, what inspired you to make like games, like start developing games?
I think it was when I first got a Nintendo at the age of 4. At least I think I was 4. I was probably 3 because my birthday is January 31st and Christmas before then. But I just remember getting that Nintendo and really playing, studying games. And I think when I was around whatever age I was in 1991, yeah, 7. I should have gone with my first guess. When I was 7, there was ZZT, and that's basically where I first learned the program in. And then I got Click and Play. Click and Play is awesome.
Yeah.
And I did some other programming stuff, but then I eventually got Multimedia Fusion 2 from someone when I was at a game school called ACI, which there's so many story branches here. And the cool thing about Multimedia Fusion 2 is I call it's Click and Play on steroids, but enough steroids that would normally kill a person. It's that powerful.
Damn.
But it uses... I mean, I could mess with the registry if I wanted to. It's that terrifyingly powerful.
God damn.
When you say
But it has-
Nintendo, you mean like an NES, like that type of Nintendo?
Yup, way back in the 80s.
Nice. I have an NES, legit.
And I reminds me when I, first time playing Super Mario Brothers, and my earliest memory is we must have selected 2-player, and I remember we got as far as the first pit, fell in, and then it said, now it's Luigi's turn, and you know how Luigi wears mostly white in the first game?
Yeah.
Well, on the blurry TV, now, before then I'd watched a lot of cartoons, and what happens when a cartoon character falls down a pit? Well, they're next shown covered in bandages, so I thought Luigi was Mario covered in bandages. So he just
I honestly can't blame him. Really can't.
Oh,
Like, of course, he took damage, he's covered in bandages,
And I
makes
could never
sense.
hope that
yeah.
happens. But that in itself has more creativity in it than I could ever hope to
Okay.
Yeah.
So
pertain, like legit.
So kind of going off of your game development story, you said you went to ACI for game development?
Yeah, it was called American Career Institute, and it was this tech school that, ironically, after I graduated, it closed down because it wasn't handling money right, which was a shame, although one of the benefits of that is I didn't have to pay student loans anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a plus.
So, was your intention for Farnham Fables, was that before or after ACI?
Well after.
Well after?
I mean, making games has always been my lifelong dream. I just hadn't gotten to it like I should have due to a lot of stress, problems, whatnot. Like I say, Eric's first contact break was the push that made me realize, okay, I got to get my act together. I really got to actually make games. So I came up with Farnham Fables because I was thinking, okay, how about instead of trying to figure out a whole bunch of different series that I'm never going to finish, how about I just make one series that I can put everything in, and like each episode could be different and such.
Oh, so that why there's a mix of mixed bag of things, like medieval, modern stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh, dude, okay.
Although the
Yeah.
game setting is 1994 or
Yeah.
1990X, but it's 94 based on the numbers I use.
Okay.
And one extra note on there is all of the Farnham happens in the span of a week. That's why episode 2
Season
is
1 does.
Sunday.
Oh,
Well,
that's
season
why
one.
that's why the
Season
characters
one is
cross
like-
over.
Yeah.
That's how season 1 is. I am thinking each season could be, every episode it happens within the span of a week, maybe, kind of, sorta. But
Yeah.
season 1, which is the first 9 episodes, are well, sort of. You could say, well, episode 1, it happens on Saturday, but it's about something that happened 10 days ago. and then episode 9 is going to be like the inverse of that, where it's something that happened the Saturday after that, but it's framed with a few weeks later with once again Neji and Callie going to King Farnham and him telling about something about the three princes going to this haunted castle for treasure searching.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that keeps in a detail of consistency, like how the stories get started. I like it.
I love
I had
continuity.
no clue that they were like that close together, though. That was-
Yeah, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, it goes through the week.
Well, sort of. Like I say, episode 1 is that Saturday. Episode 2 is Sunday. Episode 3 and 4 are basically Monday. Episode 5, I think, might be Monday, I think it's Tuesday. Well, I know episode 6 is Tuesday and Wednesday. And episode 8, I think, might be Friday. I think is Friday or Saturday. So it's not a direct week, but it's technically everything that happens is set within that week, just on different days.
Yeah. Yo, I was playing. I believe it's episode 4, and episode 4 is really creative with the things that you did and stuff. Man. Like the fucking cheese dating simulator. I actually died at that one, dude. That one was really good.
That was fun to write the text for.
I bet, dude. That shit was like really good. I like that.
It was kind of a meta moment too, because
Yeah.
you were talking about like her wanting to skip the text through the dating simulator.
It was very self-aware. I got like heavy Undertale vibes from it, and I fucking loved it, dude.
Oh, that's quite the compliment.
So,
I just got this mental image of Teresa resting her head on the table and just one finger just tapping the text advance button over and over. Just make it go on.
So, are you not into dating simulators, or is that just not your forte?
Yeah, I'd say it's not my forte. It's, how do I go? There are plenty of good ones out there, but I will admit, the one that inspired that was something called Shark Dating Sim.
Oh,
That came up
Meta
during my
quality.
research.
a meta quality.
And I saw that and I was like, okay. And hearing about other like there's others like Apalka dating simulator. So I was like, okay, how about Cheese Wedge dating simulator?
I've
And-
played the Shark Sim Simulator, and yeah, that was interesting. But my favorite was the Dragon Dragon Dating Sim.
Mhm.
Dragon dating sim.
That one, it actually got transformed into a completely different game called Angels with Scaly Wings, but that's a tangent.
Oh, is this still a dating simulator, or is it like?
It uses the
completely different?
dating sim engine, but you're solving like murder mysteries, and there's time travel, and it plays with alternate dimensions, and it's just it took me so long to finish that game because it has 3 novels worth of text.
Oh my god. Is it
I
on
was
Steam?
Yes, it's on Steam.
Oh, okay. I wanted to go look at that.
It's amazing.
I was also parodying years ago when I was a teen. I don't remember what the title was, but there was some hentai game I found. I just wanted to see what the nudity was like, and I just remember the beginning went on and on and on with the room descriptions, and I'm like, really? People who like hentai are into this sort of thing, detailing the shine of the floor and
I don't
height
know,
of the
bro.
ceiling.
The
That
descriptions
sounds
really get me off sometimes. man.
that sounds
I
like
don't know,
the
bro.
dating simulator
I
David would
swear.
play.
Yeah.
it's what I'm there for. I mean,
Oh,
Let's
Angels
be
with
real.
Scaly Wings. That doesn't look too bad. So, what inspired you to go with the whole, I guess, 8-bit, 16-bit aspect? Is it an aesthetic thing, or is that just a personal
Mostly
thing?
an aesthetic. I'd say it's both. It's mostly aesthetic thing. It's what I'm capable of, and but also because I kind of like that style. And in fact, I would say that that reminds me. Oh, another thing that helped motivate me is, you ever heard of the Hugo games, like Hugo's House of Horrors?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of them. I've
And
played 'em,
that
but
act-
I've heard of 'em.
I grew up on them. And I like them, and their graphic style. How do I put? Well, basically, I use them as to help inspire me. It's like, hey, look, these games are well known and good, and their graphics are like this, and you can do graphics like this, so just make them.
Yeah.
And don't be so hung up on how the graphics look. I still get hung up on how the graphics look, but I do what I can.
Sky told me that you use a emulator or a program to make Farnham
Music.
favorites. Yeah.
Oh, how I
how
missed
do
the
you
music?
transfer the? Oh, it was just the music.
Yeah, well, like I say, I use a program called Multimedia Fusion 2, which is, it's a modern-y thing, and
Yeah.
it should work on Windows 98, but because of how the full screen thing I did in Farnham Fables, it won't. But although the way but all other programs I use, like I use PaintShop Pro. What version do I use? Let me check about PaintShop Pro. Yeah, version 6.01, made in 1999. That's a lot later than I thought. But what I do for the music, I use a program called Session 4, that was made in I guess 94, and I load up DOSBox, I load up Windows 3.1, and that's how I write the music in that.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
A Roland emulator thingy. I also
So,
do Sound Blaster music for another game project I plan to make sometime.
so you're planning on another game project?
Yeah, it's something called Dragon's Night, and it's going to be like those old DOS side scroller. I want to say side scroller platformy adventure game. What would be a good comparison? Zelda 2 comparable, I guess.
Oh yeah, so it's gonna be like top-down 2D type mix, in a way.
Actually, I do have where did I put the screenshot of it? I do have a screenshot of it from somewhere with going through
Oh
my
my god.
folders. Is it there?
Oh yeah, and add to your notes. He didn't explain why he's a red mage yet, and that's a good story.
Oh,
a
yeah.
red mage.
Why you with Red Mage?
Here's the Dragon's Night thing. Now I can see how long it'll take before it shows up in the stream. Well, you said 15 seconds.
Oh, that's what you're making right now.
That's the screenshot from when I was working on Dragon's Night some years ago, and that light effect, that actually is a light effect. This is, I mean, I'm going to have to recode the game anyway,
Yeah.
but this is basically what it's going to look like in style and stuff.
That looks really good, actually. The light effect did a really nice touch.
It,
I like it.
what's the word I want to use? It pulsates, for lack of
It
better
does.
wording.
Yo.
Yeah, like a little sort of torch effect. And the way I did that is there's actually two image layers, the dark graphic version and the light up graphic version. I just have it sort of cut out a hole in there and animate the hole. It works.
Okay. So, can you see enemies in the dark? Like, if there was something in the dark, could you see it moving around a little bit, or do you have to get up close to it to see it?
I didn't get that far into the programming. I did program one enemy I called Thornback. I'll have to find an image of that, but
Thornback.
this sort of like porcupiney thing. It's safe to walk by, but if you try to jump, it'll try to run under you, and if you land on it, you take damage.
Oh, okay.
Again, I'm going to need to reprogram a whole lot of stuff, but this was something I was making before Farnham Fables, and it's a lot bigger, scopy. So I'll get back to it eventually. It's an important thing. We're music for it. It has Sound Blaster music,
Oh, okay.
which I'm really pleased about. And anyway, the Red Mage thing. Well, the thing about a Red Mage in Final Fantasy, especially 1, is basically the fact that they can do everything. They're not masters in anything, but they're able to do everything. And that's basically how I am with making games. I can program, I can do the graphics, I can do the writing, I can write the music. Absolutely everything that goes into making games. I'm just, not a pro in any of it.
Yeah. So you're a Final Fantasy fan, or
Oh,
have
yeah.
you played Final? Yeah, dude, I love Final Fantasy. I love the real old ones, like Final Fantasy V is my favorite.
I definitely like the older ones.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't played many or any of the newest ones.
I could
Yeah.
not get into those games at all.
Yeah, I played Final Fantasy 15 because I was hyped for it from all the trailers and stuff from ago. Disappointing as hell, man. Sad to say. But...
What about Farnham Fables episode 15 will be... actually, I do know it's going to be playing as Alexa in Russia.
Playing as Alexa in Russia.
I want to see that, dude.
So do you want to release the Farnham Fable games in order, like number-wise? Or would you be into releasing them out of order and then having people connect the story?
Nah, I want to do it in order, although I am debating if I should be working on episode 6 before 5. But then again, I've already coded the underground tunnels in 5, I just haven't put in the graphics yet. which I'm gonna have to do
We're
150
getting
backgrounds
sneak
of.
peeks. Underground
Okay.
tunnels. Oh, heard it here first.
I currently have a what do you call it?
Nice.
Programmer art of the underground tunnels. Where is it?
Oh boy.
Let me save episode
This
5.
puts
So-
the maze in the Xanth game to shame. Well, I told him he could.
Each room has a front and back, and you can turn around. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good programmer art I did.
Oh, is that for the cave thing?
Yeah, for the underground tunnels.
Oh, okay.
So episode 5 is set in Russia. Fludor goes to Russia because he wants to investigate this nuclear facility that had gone critical years ago, and he finds out there's this underground tunnel system to reach there, so he goes down there to... And along the way, he meets up with a mutant named Alexa,
Okay.
and it's...
Nice.
How do I word it? I refer to this as I want to say a seed planting episode. You know, there's going to be a lot of plot stuff that doesn't get resolved in that episode, but will be in later ones, like in episode 25 when Fludor goes back there.
Okay. Are you planning like spin-offs for like certain favorite characters? Because I know a lot of games do that for like some characters they just really like and they want like a spin-off or something. Are you like planning spin-offs like later on? Or do you even like
If
plan?
it happens, it happens. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I've been pondering the idea of like, oh, play board games of other characters, kind of like what Sierra did one time with their Hoyle series.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Or something. There was one thing that I would really like to make that Suikoden 3 did, where you had these plays you could put on, and you can pick which characters play which roles. And I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool seeing like
Yeah.
Teresa's classmates doing that.
Like some sort of D&D adventure?
Say again?
Like something similar to a D&D adventure?
Maybe. There's so many. You know, I want this. I plan on working on this series for my entire life. In fact, I set it up that way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
I like
Yeah,
that you're
so-
very passionate about this project. I really
Dedication.
like that, man.
Well, this is my life, and I'm basically the father and stepfather to a lot of these characters. And I always knew making games was my purpose in life, but recently I've learned that it's more the purpose of finding homes for these characters so that they don't just, fade away into oblivion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Characters. Let's be honest. Like there's, like some of the scenes like in the school, there's like 30 characters in the background, and then in the church there's like a lot of them. And the way it sounds is like you're gonna have them be useful in one way or another eventually.
Oh yeah. Actually, interesting thing about episode 3 of all those students, me and Erica designed out. We have all the students in that school designed out, even the ones that haven't shown up in episode 3, and we designed out all their parents because I didn't feel comfortable working with kids without their parents knowing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's clever. Right. You said this is based in Russia. Do you speak any Russian?
Nope. But my publisher is Russian, the one who helped put the game up on Steam.
Oh, you have a publisher.
Yep. He goes by Pinkerator. His thing is called Sometimes You,
Okay.
and he's
You can.
how many characters in 58 characters in episode 3.
And each one has to have their own unique reactions with every single item.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because that's kind of the it's a gimmick of Farnham Fables that every single possible interaction has its own unique response.
That must put a lot of extra work on you,
Michael.
right?
Yeah, like how long does it take to make like all of this fit together and everything?
I'd say it varies because sometimes, like, I'll be writing out the interactions and it'll be obvious, and then I'll get to a point like, okay, give fence to shovel. And then I just have trouble figuring out what to do. Eventually
Yeah.
something comes to me, and I also have to keep reminding myself it doesn't always have to be clever, it just has to be unique.
So-
as long as
Yeah.
you can...
So when you're making the game, how many interactions do you think you get done with in a day?
Say again, it varies because some days it can be slow, some days longer. I don't have a very good work scheduling thingy. In fact,
A better
yeah.
question would be, how many rooms do you get done a week?
Oh. Oh yeah, that would be
Uh,
better.
no, that's not a better question because again, it's my work ethic is not as good as it could be. Like, like say episode 5 right now, it only took me like a week to code out I think it was a week, the underground tunnels, but now it's like now I have to do all the backgrounds and I haven't actually started yet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have
did-
every done. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I do have all the inventory. I do have a process in the sense that first before I begin any programming stuff, I figure out okay how many rooms are there, and I have to at least know what all the inventory items are, so that it's a lot easier to just it's adding in new things is possible, but it's insanely hard, and I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
That's why the pebble is in all of them. Yeah.
No, the pebbles in all of them because I thought that'd be a funny thing to have. Every episode you're
I was
guaranteed.
wondering why I was seeing a pebble everywhere, dude. Oh my god.
The Pebble even explains it when you talk to it in episode 4, how it's like it's going to be in every episode of season 1, and maybe it'll have an important purpose in 9. I don't know yet.
Ends up
I'm
being
kidding.
like a life-saving thing. Like,
I'm kidding. I actually do know.
The pebble, I actually enjoy it immensely because when you're at that pump that you like cannot turn, like I don't know if there's like some hidden secret to that, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to turn. Anyways, I tried to do something with the rock and it swam up it and then blocked it, and I was like, "What is with?"
I just love the idea of
That
you do
was
something random and
hilarious.
you get rewarded with it, and like a lot of the stuff I put in, I always imagine like maybe some players like, oh, I wonder if it'll break the game if I do this, and it's like, nope, you get unique text. Like the example I gave yesterday was, there's this one, before the cheese wedge dating simulator. It's as soon as you enter the room, it automatically like, up. Teresa suspects something stupid's about to happen, and when you get the blue key, you're able to ride the unicorn to to each place is where or close to where one of the rainbow keys is, and that's one of the rooms. And I was thinking, oh, it's technically possible to avoid that room until you get to ride the unicorn. How about I have a unique text be if you ride the unicorn there as your first arrival there?
oh,
And I'm like, who's going to think to try that? But those who do will be in for a surprise.
Oh.
darn.
So do you have any big secrets in the game that you wouldn't mind
He
revealing?
tells us it's not a secret.
Well, like we said before, it's harder to keep him from revealing things.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what secrets would I not want to reveal? That's a good question.
Well, I would say something big that if one of the viewers ever wants to like hop on Farnham Fables, then if they would want to go and play the game, what would they be inclined to want to go see?
I guess that would vary from players, because I also include a lot of the term I like to use is playfully naughty stuff, and I actually try to make that I try to make that like hard to find, mostly in the sense of for the sake of people who don't want to find that. Like I have my cousin as a creative consultant, and he loves the series, but he is not a fan of that sort of stuff, which I actually consider a good thing, because then when I'm making the game, I'm like, okay, how can I include the stuff I want to see while not bothering him, basically?
Yeah.
And I think one part I'm really proud of is in episode 4, how to get past the bullies. You give the pump to Janine, and there's that inflation scene, which is actually something Eric wanted to see in there. And I intentionally, there is a way to get them outfitless, but it's optional. So I was thinking, okay, when she's inflating, I'm going to have the clothing just stay on and not have anything, not have it be naughty in any way.
Yeah.
And I showed that scene to Adam, and thank goodness he only focused on the humor aspect of that. So I was like, yes, I succeeded.
Yes. Yeah, I've stumbled across quite a few of the naughty options in the games.
Oh yeah, but there's never going to be anything sexual, because I don't like that stuff. It's icky and gross.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, there are
Yeah.
hints to like sexual activity in the games, however. Correct?
Yeah, because sex is a thing that it exists. It's why the kids exist. And like there's the character of Rachel, from episode 1, and she totally wants to have that sort of fun with Frederick, but he doesn't. In fact, there's one optional interaction which I feel you can tell a lot about someone by how they react to this, because the way I word it is it's meant to be. So what it is that Rachel's saying to Frederick, if you wanted to spend the night, what she's hinting at, and Frederick's response is to say, oh, you'd love to spend time with her and Gloria. And the purpose of that is to show that, oh, he's not interested in doing that sort of thing with them. So it's like, oh, include Gloria, meaning he only wants things to be, innocent-y and not sexy. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of players thought otherwise, unfortunately.
Through text sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, going from that, let's see. I'd like to ask a question about the game design. So, with the screen for the game, there's no full screen option unless you go into the thing and make it full screen, but then it still stays as its box. Then you have the options of like stretch or I think it's widen.
Yeah, the reason I did it that way is it's actually the special program someone made. How do I describe it? It's the fans of Multimedia Fusion. It's an adapted thing called Ultimate Full Screen, and the benefit to it is that it does not mess with your screen resolution. Some games you full screen them and it'll mess up all your desktop icons
I
because it
hate
resizes.
that.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
hate it
games
too.
do that. It's so fucking irritating.
Like,
So I
for
did this
example,
full
TF2.
screen-
I don't play TF2.
Oh.
I
Okay.
know
well,
of it.
They do something along those lines. I was just trying to give an example.
Of screen being resolution being messed with or not being messed with.
With a resolution being messed with.
And it's such a pain. It's like my icons. But so I did, so
I can
did this
add
full screen
something.
thing.
I found a program that's just simply called Fences that gives you virtual boxes to put on your desktop to put your icons in, but it's smart. So as the resolution changes, the software tries to make sense of, the tiny resolution when it gets corrupted. But the cool feature is when your desktop goes back to its normal resolution, the fences resize and the icons just kind of fly back into place.
Oh,
Huh.
alright.
Now, does it work for
Program.
like upscaling?
Yeah.
Huh.
It just keeps a log of, where everything relatively is. So when I load those games that just mess up my desktop, I know as soon as I exit the game, I don't have to start putting icons back. They just kind of fly back themselves.
Oh, okay.
I just took a screenshot of my desktop and would manually fix it that way.
Oh. Hey, that's one way to do it.
It works, I guess. But yeah, that's why it does the full screeny thingy that way, and I wanted to keep things simplish and such.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you ever thought about making an in-game map?
There isn't.
Well, episode 4 kind of has one if you do examine bulletin board.
Alright.
And with episode 5, well, admittedly, the thing with episode 5 is I want the player to be able to make out the map themselves, but I give them a lot of tools to make it easier. Like you can get a compass. If you do examine Fludor, it'll actually give you a sort of an XY coordinates until the sequence when he gets lost and he loses that ability. But if you go back to a certain place, you can get it back, but that's completely optional. I've already coded that in. But then I've decided, testing this out is kind of hazardous, so I've put in a secret developer map that I may or may not keep in the final one as a secret. I don't know yet. But it'll probably be the same key combination that lets you get the no cheating text in the ZZT section of episode 4.
Okay.
Because in ZZT, I can't believe this was a recent thing I learned like a year ago. If you do the question mark key, hold shift and question mark or whatever that slash is, that's how you can do like some sort of cheating thing in ZZT. So I figured, okay, if you try and do that in the ZZT section of Farnham Fables, it's just gonna have a text saying no cheating.
On the map thing, I actually did get lost on episode 2, around the chicken coop, because I didn't realize that he changed the compass direction that you're facing. So when I try to go back, it sends me, forward, and it's like, I was assuming that everything was facing north, and
Funny
it
thing,
really
that
got me tripped up.
Funny thing, that location, that's actually a real place in Natick.
Oh yeah, no, I saw the picture that you had in the
Episode
in the,
4.
the fourth episode that had that the place with the panel and the logs.
The funny thing, I had to recreate that. So the way I do the backgrounds
Yeah.
actually is I'll take a photo, I have to resize it just right, and then I just pixel over it. And that was how I did the background, episode 2 and also in 3. And having it show up in 4, I actually had to get the original photo and resize it and adjust it so it's just right. And then I had to do all color filtering so that when I reduce the colors, it doesn't look weird. A lot of work went into that.
I mean, it was a bit of a shock going to that area, because I could tell where it was from, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And it has a different design than the rest of the game.
It's a dream.
Unprocessed section. What I really like is when you're there, if you do, I think, examine Teresa. I took a screenshot of it. It does some, I think, amusing fourth wall breakage. Green. I already took a screenshot. There it is. And I'll send it there and read the text.
Oh, that place. Fuck, that tripped me out.
Teresa recognizes this as part of the farm near her school, sort of. For a brief moment, she thought she was actually in the real world, but that would require something like a puppet being made of her. She briefly wonders how she'd look as a Muppet or who her voice actors could be, but eventually starts to feel embarrassed about the whole thing.
Oh.
I just like the idea of fictional characters, like knowing they're fictional characters. It's like an alternate universe thing. I don't know, I just find it cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you ever be interested in making something like a doll for the game?
Oh, heck yeah. Darn right I would. Like action dolls or action figures of all the characters, that'd be freaking awesome!
Have you looked into it at all, or?
No, because I bet it's expensive. And the series probably needs to be a little more popular, well-known, I guess.
Yeah. That is true.
I would
Can you
get
imagine-
every reptile.
Imagine an animated series.
Animated series.
That'd be nice. I'd be getting one of those dolls for real, though.
With
Like
hand-drawn animation, because that looks good.
The only problem is you wouldn't get all those silly interactions in there.
Yeah,
Well,
you'd
the
have
stories
pick
would
and
have to
choose.
be different ones, I guess.
You can
So
get
far,
creative
most of
with
the
it. Add
characters
some
are,
things, like some Easter eggs in the background or something.
There's definitely enough characters.
Yeah.
Hey, and you think episode 3 is a lot? Oh boy, my plan for episode 8.
So you already have plans all the way up to episode 9 or episode 12?
Let's see. Far beyond that. Like I say, I plan on making the series forever, and I've got some episode ideas I haven't figured out the numbers for, and episode ideas that I do know. Like I know what episode 25 is going to be mostly,
So
and
so this is all passion. You're not making it for the people. You're making it for you.
The characters.
I'm making it for the characters. They need a home, and they deserve to exist and be known. And
How
I
did
sort
you
of word it
decide
like this.
what
What's it again?
it was? You said you already know what 25 is going to be, but how do you know it's going to be 25? Because that's like a whole lot of space in between here and there.
Yeah, because I decided that 25 would be the episode that happened.
25.
I might make it a
That's pretty cool.
two-parter thingy, episode 25, and because I know 25 would be Fludor and Frederick going to Russia, meeting up with Alexa, and I want that's going to be season 3, which I want it to end with them actually bringing Alexa back to Farnham, which is actually going to cause some problems that will be taken care of in a later episode, because Alexa being there is actually what's been keeping all the other mutants from escaping, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
I got
have
lots of stories.
a overarching plot for each and every one of your games, but so they're not separate games with separate stories.
So it's supposed to be like the way I want this done is like a TV series where you don't have to do them in order. You can play episodes as you want to. There is continuity, but like you don't have to have played the first 3 games to be able to play the 4th one, for
Okay.
example. And
So
you
you
don't
wanna-
have to have played. What's again?
Go ahead.
I'm saying, and you don't have to have played. How do I put? Where was I going with that? Oh, the fact that I actually have some references to episode 6 already in episode 4.
Okay. So you
Like,
plan
if
to have
you-
it like episodic.
Say again?
You plan to have it like episodic and stuff, where people can just jump in and like.
Exactly,
Enjoy the
episodic like a
games.
TV series, and not episodic like how gamings mostly do it. Where
Yeah.
it's like, hey, it's an episodic gaming. It's just one game. You've just split it up to make people have to wait. I want
Yeah.
the whole finished game. Gosh darn it!
Like any of the
Half-Life
Telltale
3.
games.
Oh, please, please, I need it.
In the
Yeah,
game
so in
now.
this, each episode is a finished story thingy.
Huh.
In the
Okay.
game now, they're all like mammalian or like reptilian. But are you gonna ever plan on adding like any ichthyes, aves, or amphibia?
Well, there are shark people you can see in episode 2 and 3.
Oh, hey, you're right. You're right.
And there, oh yeah, and the 5th grade teacher
I
is
remember
I think he's a raven. What was the name given
So-
for
Okay.
him?
So these are all going to be humanoids, but no humans.
Anthro.
Oh, anthro.
Oh yeah,
There's humans.
yep. Because I like the idea of humans and anthros being mixed together in the same setting.
I mean, the king is human, correct? But
Yep. Whereas Neji and Kali are rat people, and then
then there's Frederick, Flu, and Philip.
Frederick, Fludor, and Philip, the sons of the king. And I think of the how do I put it? I think of them as they're kind of rebels in the sense that they always go off and do their own thing. It just so happens doing their own thing is helping other people.
Oh,
Okay.
All
I like
three
that
of them. All 3 of them do enjoy going on adventures, and I'm really looking forward to showcasing that in the beginning of episode 5, where Fludor is telling Philip that he's going off to Russia, as in it was just a split-minute decision. And, instead of saying, be careful or stuff, Philip is like, oh, I wish I could go with you, but I got this animal presentation coming up.
ah.
Yes,
So-
reference to episode
The
3.
dialogue in those animals. Oh my gosh! Like if you start like inspecting all of the mythical creatures, Jesus Christ, that is a lot of
Oh,
dialogue.
in the school.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean when you do... Oh, you mean the describe animals thing?
Yeah, that. Oh my God, I went through that. I was like,
The reason I did
how
that
much
is
time did that take?
very much a lot of time. I did a lot of research, I did a lot of research, which I can't remember as well as I'd like to, but, a mixture of research and making stuff up. But then the reason I did that was because I had already decided I didn't want the ending to, show all of Philip's presentation. It was just going to be glossed over. But, what if the player wanted to know what the presentation would be like? What's he going to say about the animals? Well, that's what the optional describe thing is.
Yeah.
That's very smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And it took a while to get through.
so I got a few more questions that we can
Yay.
continue going over. I've been taking notes this whole time, so you're going to be packed with questions the entire time.
This is fun.
So let's see. I've asked about the in-game map. Okay, so have you been the only developer for the entire game, or there were other developers such as Eric?
Kinda, sorta. How
The
does
short answer is Eric was the concept artist.
sort of? It's more complex than that. He's very.
Well, Well, I remember
I say
you
we
saying something about Eric being. I think he was helping with the story ideas, stuff like that. Like you said it in the Discord the other day.
Well, a number of these characters are characters that he created, and I had made the promise that I would find, homes for, like Neji and Callie, Vincent and Teresa, and others that haven't shown up yet. And because I'd say a promise is something that, well, I'd say a lot of artists do, where they'll create something and then not finish it. And that was something he often did. He'd create characters and not really
Do anything?
not really be a good parent to them. I like to word it. I
Yeah.
kind of say a lot of these characters are he's the biological parent and I'm the stepfather, and it's why I want him to be a part of. I want him to be a part of his children's lives, basically.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for over 15. He was my soulmate. Okay, I'm not. Neither of us are gay, but he's my soulmate.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So do you guys know each other like in online or like high school? So.
Online, we first met.
Okay.
In fact, it's actually thanks to Final Fantasy IX we first met. It was on some Final Fantasy IX discussion board, obviously dedicated to Freya, obviously that character, and we met there, and we just got talking more and more, and just got. I think that was we first met. I think it was in 2001. And then we just got closer and closer, met each other in person, and all that. Developing Farnham Fables together, and he was as passionate about this. Well, but his other friends. I'm convinced his other friends manipulated him into the abandonment.
Yeah.
It's still a hard topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is, and how do I put this? It's on one hand, it's tough to talk about. On the other hand, I don't want to deprive information.
Well, if
I
it's
mean-
sensitive to you, man, we won't.
Yeah.
Oh no, please,
If
please
you're not
do ask.
if you're not comfortable, I don't want to go touching on it.
I'm more uncomfortable about it not being touched on. I want the information out there because it might do some good. Maybe, I don't know. It's complicated.
Okay, so it was just you and Eric as the developers of the game. Did you call
No,
anybody
there was-
in, or?
It was basically me, Eric, and to a smaller extent, my cousin Adam. You can see him in the credits as the creative consultant.
Mhm.
And he's I describe. He's sort of. He's still helping me, although he's so busy. We only kind of get together on Thursday evenings after work. And even then, we don't get stuff done. Like last few days ago, we started watching a series that I can't believe he was the one that suggested we watch. How do I pronounce it? Agretzko. And I was like, really? You're a fan of that? Because I've been meaning to watch it. And so we just ended up spending the day watching it instead of getting any work done.
What
And-
is it?
But Adam is
Go ahead.
also an artist. Where do I have the... he's actually helped with... where did I save it? Like, the machine room in episode... Actually, he's the one who helped me design the machine room in episode 4 because... he's not into that sort of thing, so I thought it'd be funny. Hey, how about someone who's not into that sort of thing design a machine for that sort of thing? And that's why it ended up looking so generic, which I think is exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to look like a machine where like, how the heck is this a tickle machine? How does it work? What does it do?
Yeah. Oh, that's the show.
Can't wait for season 2. Can't wait for season 2. One of my favorite shows.
I was racking my head what that show was.
I love Agretzko.
Here's a folder. FF Adam.
I need to actually watch it.
It's really good. There's another one
really
called. There's another one coming out right now called Africa No Salary Man. It is really good. So that leads me to another topic. Is Farnham Fables your main source of income, or do you work a job outside of it?
Ironically, no to both. I want Farnham Fables to be my main source, but I live with my mother and she takes care of me. I am also getting this social security stuff, but I used to have other jobs years ago. They were terrible jobs that I think everyone should have some experience in. customer service.
Yeah, gotta love customer service, man. Best thing to work.
Like I worked like various grocery stores. I think my last one was working at Walgreens, and as fun as some of the experiences there, I don't think I could handle it because I'm I have mental problems,
Oh.
and I prefer to use the term retarded because it has much more power behind it. And it shows that it's not something I want to be, but that's just how life is.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Well, technically, what I have is ADD and Asperger's, and
So that's how it's pronounced.
Is it?
I think that's how it's pronounced.
I've always
Either that or it's
pronounced it
Asperger's.
Yeah.
I think it is supposed to be Asperger's, with a P instead of B, as I now recall seeing Cartman putting hamburgers down in his pants. Which, I remember someone at high school actually thinking, it, dude, this guy has hamburgers for a butt. I still remember one student, and the reason I'm laughing about it is, first of all, he was saying it to the teacher. And the teacher was like, don't say that, it's stupid.
Oh, that's nice.
That went so off the rails.
Yeah, I'm having trouble putting
Yeah.
the phone back on.
That's how it be.
Okay, let's see. God, I had an idea for a question. It just lost me. I'm just a big fan of Agretzko. I don't know. Let's see.
And I've become one.
So,
Well,
outside of the other devs, let's go back into the fourth game, the first room. So, the stuffed animals that are on... God, the name is missing me right now.
Teresa's bedroom.
Yeah, Teresa's bedroom. The stuffed animals. Are those games that you've played in the past, or...
Oh yeah. I'm trying to find a good. Where's the folder? Computering is hard. I have a screenshot that I took for people to see what we're talking about as I scroll. Gosh,
Yeah.
where is it?
Some of the stuffed animals that I saw were I believe it was Fluttershy from My Little Pony, Toriel from Undertale, Tails from Sonic.
Specifically, the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon version. And then there's Toro from Quest for Glory, and a random turtle.
Toro from
And-
The Quest for Glory?
Yeah, and in the Quest for Glory series, which I'd say is the game series that changed my life as a kid, in the first and fifth one, there was this Minotaur named Toro. Toro like Hero Man. And further I explain, Teresa's my best fantasy friend because when me and Eric would RP, there was usually me going to visit Vincent and Teresa, and we'd often RP watching stuff together, like a Quest for Glory playthrough, and one of the things is, Teresa thinks Toro looks pretty cute, so I decided it would be canon that, I got a custom-made Toro plushie for her.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So
And the
you're
Toriel
part of this
plush-
world. Like,
Yeah, because
you're a
it's
character
hype. It's-
in it.
Yep, I'm me. And that's because, well, like I say, it's canon that I'm best friends with Vincent and Teresa, and I'm the reason they got the reason they're more. How do I put it? Teresa was a lot more withdrawn until she met me. Was basically how the story is going, and also the reason I put myself in here is it's another one of those things where I find it charming when shows or things do this, where they have the actual creator or like the narrator or something is actually part of the story. If it's done right, it can be done stupidly, but
Mm-hmm.
but I figure if like I'm only in mentioning like. Actually, it's kind of funny to say you never see my face, except well, you kind of do if you look at the that Grand Dog poster.
So, on the website for Ethria Dreams, I just tried looking up your name, and you're not there. Do you go by a different alias in the games?
No, that's because how do I put it? Because I am and am not a character in here. It's like how do I put it?
He's not the character, it's him.
I come from episode 4 even points out, I come from the real world. You know, like when if you have Teresa try to call me on the phone, it says she's actually trying to call me in the real world, but saying sorry, but can't do a transdimensional call right now.
Oh.
Because that's how the role plays with, you know, with Eric would be, where it's I'm going to visit them. I've role played with the other characters too, getting together and stuff, but you know, it's primarily been Vincent and Teresa, and then we get watching stuff, and I'd be asking how does Teresa react to this episode of MLP and stuff, and like the reason Teresa has a Fluttershy plushie is because that's her favorite pony from the show.
Huh.
Okay.
Similar to Callie having a Freya doll in episode 1. You know, that was always... Actually, it's probably obvious that Neji and Callie, Eric based off of the rat people race from Final Fantasy IX.
Huh. That's interesting.
You know, they were Final Fantasy IX OCs, just like Vincent and Teresa were actually Sonic the Hedgehog OCs at first. But, you know, I just kept asking questions of developing them and such.
Okay.
And they're good puppers.
So, let's continue off of this and onto another visual, or I guess sensual topic. What type of music do you listen to? The music in the games is interesting, so I just want to know, where do you find your music, or what are you interested in?
I'd say I like video game music.
That's fair.
That's very broad.
Well, that is kind of it. I do like a broad range of music. I mean, I also like you know, I do like classical music. I like music from, you know, the 50s and 80s. I think the liking of classical music and oldies music is thanks to my father. He would always have Oldies 103 on the radio station, and it's good music. And 80s music, because 80s music is awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, but I always liked video
Is that
games
an
like
illegal site?
It will be when I'm done with
I
it.
don't know.
It's not
I
illegal.
use it for-
All that music is good. You hear that, Twitch? You hear that? It's good music. Yep. None of it. Nope. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue.
It's too fuzzy on the stream to even read the address.
That's fine.
It's an H, and I think there's 2 T's. Could be 3, I don't know, and there's a bunch of other letters. You'll just type something, you'll find it.
It looks like a mathematical equation.
Yes.
Just bang on the keyboard, you'll turn up something.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's bound to
you
work.
turn up something.
But yeah, in fact, the first game, a lot of the music, I was actually trying to mimic the style of some old Sierra games, particularly when they first got a hold of Roland music, you know, like the remake of King's Quest 1, and I actually was trying to sort of mimic that style of like the Fox theme, and well, the Glekutsu theme was a song I'd written years ago, and I just remade for that. I've written a lot of music, and writing music is word symbol. Writing music is hard.
Yeah.
And all the stuff I do is hard. I'm not an artist. I'm not a music writer. I'm a red mage.
I'm a dragon.
Did you ever go into the Red Mage thing?
Oh yeah, how it's based. I can go into again about Final Fantasy has it that the red mage. The deal of the red mage is that they can do everything, but they're not proficient in everything. You know, they can use weaponry, but not all of it. They can cast black and white spells, but not all of it. And that's basically how I am with making video games. You know, I can do absolutely everything that needs to be done to make a video game. I'm just not a master or proficient in any of it.
Yeah, but proficiency comes with time.
Yeah, true, but that's also proficiency comes from, you know, like focused. You know, like artists get better at their art because they're focused on the art, whereas I'm, you know, focused. You know, all putting skill points into everything.
Okay.
So basically, you're a jack of all trades for development.
Yep.
So,
Red Mage Power.
have you ever tried to make any, I guess, 3D game?
Kinda. I guess if you count my game design class at ACI, they were focused mostly on 3D games. And it does remind me of, as I now recall, 2 amusing stories. So when I was at ACI, I had a teacher who I want to say he was a good teacher. There was nothing wrong with him. He just happened to be one of those teachers that, usually jokingly acted like he was, he's better than the students because he's a teacher. He was a good guy. It was mostly jokingly. He was a good guy. And I just remember two incidences. Mine's going everywhere. Okay, what I was recalling was we had to design like just this building, and for the fun of it, I decided to make it that when you go up on the roof, the door would suddenly slam close and some battle music would play. I never actually put in an enemy. And so the teacher was testing it out. He goes up on the roof, the door slams, and I'm watching him, and for just a brief second, I saw him go into gamer mode. He immediately turned around like he was actually expecting something, actual gameplay to happen. And I was like, oh, I'm so proud of myself for accomplishing this.
Like actual gameplay was going to happen.
I was like, I turned him into gamer mode. And the second thing the number one thing I'm the most proud of in that school was, so we were actually working with the Unreal Engine, and we had our final. By that point, it was down to just 2 students, me and some other guy. So we were just doing our own thing, and I decided, okay, you know how some people get overexcited about class and they're like, oh, I'm going to do something really amazing, but then they get bogged down by how, reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like that, except for the bogged down part. I knew what I was getting into when I decided that I would tear apart the Unreal Engine and rebuild it as a point-and-click adventure game engine. And it took me an entire month to do that. It was like taming a wild beast, but I finally did it. And I remember, asking the teacher, hey, could you check out some of the code I did? And he says to me, you are so far ahead of me, I don't even know what you're doing anymore.
I don't even know what you're doing. Oh.
He just doesn't know you. Jesus Christ.
And I am just so... I'm just still very much a lot of proud of myself.
Tell them the story about the compiler.
Oh, this... Okay, so the way the compiler works is... so, when you compile something, there would be like an end text. And if the end text was green, that meant it compiled fine. If the end text was yellow, that meant it'll work, but there's like some minor issues here and there. And if it's red, that means it failed to compile. You screwed up the coding so bad that it's just not going to work. Somehow, I managed to make the code so bad it crashed the compiler.
Oh.
Like the compiler just could not handle it. It was that bad.
Compiler, I didn't even know what you were doing. Too far ahead.
Did you ever figure out what you did? Or
I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was I removed some. I know. It was because I was messing with code we were told not to mess with, which was like default stuff or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, man, that's wild. I didn't really think, like, when somebody thinks of tech school, right? They're not thinking of like an adventurous place, like a bunch of funny stories. Like, you'll usually think of like people sitting behind computers for like the majority of their day.
Well, that pretty much was what it just happened to be some amusing stories here and there. Like, although, as I remember, another fun time another thing I'm proud of, we had to do we had to do something called 30-second elevator interview. And it was supposed to be like, okay, let's say you're in an elevator with some developer or something, you got to pitch your story to them and such. And I remember, at that point there were just 3 students in the class, me and 2 others, and I just remember, everyone came, he told us he wanted us to dress up nice as though, and they dressed up in nice stuff. Meanwhile, I put on a full suit and tie and fedora and all that. An actual fedora I had.
Gamer mode.
And I just remember the other 2, they had understandable problems. The teacher had to actually prompt them. And then it was my turn, and the only mistake I made was going over 30 seconds because I thought he was going to tell us when to stop. But I still remember 2 times him. I could see he had to take an effort to suppress his that he was impressed by what I was saying. You know, just his expression was like, "No, I'm not going to show this impresses me. No, I'm not going to let him know that."
Wow.
So, you've been successful from the beginning.
In a way, kinda, I guess. Depends on how success is defined, I suppose.
You released on Steam. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Oh, especially how it got on Steam. So this I'm rather interested by. So this was during Steam had something called Greenlight, where games had to be voted on and stuff. And the way it worked is, I think it was you had to be in the top 50 to qualify each month. And at one point, my game was it was in the top 200, I think like 202 or something, and yet it still got accepted. And my publisher said the only way that would make any sense is if someone at Steam manually pushed it through.
Oh.
And so I'm like, oh wow, someone at Steam is totally fine with my game of naked lizard girls in it. Awesome.
Yeah, this was well before Steam relaxed their submission rules, so yes, very impressive.
I'm still amazed by some of the screenshots that are still allowed in the... Well, apparently you can't take screenshots in the game, and I think it's because of something with the overlay something. Then the fact that I use F12 for either raising or lowering the... Why don't I remember if it's raising or lowering the volume?
What,
How do I not know
for
my
the
own
game? F11
Yeah, the
is
game-
to lower the volume, F12 is to heighten the volume.
I should have gone to my first guess. Yeah, I made those the volume raise and lowery thing. And I don't know if that's part of it, but people are unable to take screenshots. People are unable to take screenshots, except for one person in Japan, apparently.
One person in Japan
They're-
able to take screenshots of the game.
Yeah, in the Steam screenshots section, you'll find there's actually 4 screenshots there, and I have no idea how they managed to do it.
They custom modded your game just so they could take those screenshots.
Baby. But most people, what they do is they'll post to the art section. I mean, there isn't much there, though. It does amuse me that 2 of the screenshots are of naked Winona, and it's still there after all these years. Yeah, those are the screenshots. Now I'm seeing it showing up on the screen. Yeah, those are the screenshots.
Let's see.
Yeah, those
That's just
4.
a
And
week. Oh no. Oh,
it's got to be someone in Japan because Japanese text. I know one of them says safe, whatever that means. Seifu. I can read Japanese, I just don't understand what I'm reading.
I don't understand why. Why these 4 in particular, or why these 3? Because you posted 3.
Well, those are the highlights of episode 1.
Like
The
the
start,
title
the start,
screen.
the start, and the start.
3 starts to storylines. Hey.
There's more in the artwork section, and like I say, it's mostly of Winona, and I still consider it like a boast that the fact that brain's going everywhere and my words are fumbling.
You know, going
Nice.
off of this, I did not notice this pole was a clickable object.
Oh yeah, it is kind of off screen. Hey, try doing play as Fludor and go there with the cloth and give pole to skirt, and you'll tell some story about how Fludor remembers walking by a telephone pole, seeing 2 pairs of underpants, and when he walked past it again, one of them was gone. And
There's somebody in the stream chat who's saying they did some screenshots with Steam, but they did it by accident.
I'm asking a question. How? I wish more people would post screenshots.
We need more screenshots of episode 4, because that one looks the best.
Yeah, but that's not part of tape 1. It'll be part of tape 2.
I mean, I know you can screenshot using the snipping tool, but
That's what I do.
That's probably how they post the artwork versions.
I mean, maybe they're screenshotting it and like cropping it. I don't know.
That's how they're doing it in the artwork section, which again doesn't have that many in it.
Okay.
But
Well,
screenshots that I'm very proud of are on Steam.
I have another question. If you're ready for it,
Yeah.
who is Tim Sweetney?
Sweeney.
Tim Sweeney. He's the creator of ZZT.
He's the creator of ZZT.
I love
Yep.
that game.
And I can't tell if was, or if I'm inaccurate. I think is the president of Epic Mega Games as well, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, he's the guy who made ZZT, and I'd love what he thinks of the ZZT stuff in episode 4.
I just posted a image.
Oh yeah, I've seen that image. That was also a bit confusing to figure out with the hose scene, because you have to inspect the entire hose to find out there's a front and a back into it.
And technically, I actually didn't make this. That was another friend of mine, Celine, made this. And I actually paid her to make it so I could say, hey, this game actually has been funded.
Oh, that leads me to another topic. David, Jeb, you guys still here, or are you just quiet?
I
I'm still
am
here.
still here. Yeah.
No, they're asleep.
Yeah.
You're right.
You two have any questions before I continue like rambling off?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. In Farnham 4, with the
Okay, then.
specific Celine's campground scene, when you click on the stars and you examine them, or I guess you just double click them to look at them, it says there is a meaning to them. So what do the colored stars mean?
They mean something to Celine. It's basically, to put simply, Celine used to make ZZT games with 2 others of her friends, so those stars basically represent her and her friends.
Do they?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's why she said she put them in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought it was
That's
like
really cool,
something
though.
interesting, and there was no like other hint to it.
That's
So
not interesting.
I just had to ask
You're trying to say that's
No, I
not
said I thought it was
interesting?
something that was interesting, and there was no other hint to it in the game. So asking the developer is the easiest way.
Yeah, because that's how she wanted it. She basically like we went over this room. We actually even went over together. What the text is going to be, and she wanted it to not be too explaining why it's there, but just something that she and her friends could look at. And I was like,
Easter
okay, I'll
egg.
respect that. Yeah. And also another reason I had her make this room is I like the idea of all the other rooms look so basic and simple, but then you just have this one room which is done out, all super high quality like.
Is there any special things you can do with the dragon in that beginning room?
You can shoot them and make them sad.
Oh,
Aww.
Oh,
I did
fuck
that.
no.
well, you can
You can also shoot the happy face.
Yeah, and you can make it a sad face.
Yeah, you can shoot the face, and then shoot it again and make it happy again.
And then you can push the big shiny red button to make it go into the version of ZZT that I grew up with, but wouldn't fit in the screen properly.
Yeah, there's like even
That's
a
right.
comment that says this version was what the developer grew up with.
I think it was 2.0 instead of 3.1, and it's like I wanted to show it.
Yeah.
Well, the Teresa's face icon and the inventory item icons are done in 2.0 style, but the maps and stuff, it was like this is the only way it'll fit. So fine.
Would you ever think of going back and remaking one of these games in a different art style?
It would be interesting seeing how episode 1 would look with more higher resolution graphics, I guess. Actually, technically, you could say episode 1 is that because it's the same as the pilot episode, but with higher quality-ish graphics. Also, the inclusion of Neji and Callie, because the pilot episode was just the prince's part without the bookend stuff. I mean, I always planned on having the Neji and Callie stuff, but I was like, well, for the pilot, I'll just have it, like this. And I say the pilot is still worth playing because pretty much all the text was rewritten, so there's different responses to different reactions anyway.
So the pilot is separate from episode 1, is what you're saying.
So it is the same, but it's episode 0, the three princes, and it's the same story, of Rachel and Gloria, and gotta get the mushroom to Dr. Keith, but it's the same story, but all
It's the rough
text
draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a rough
Oh,
draft
okay.
version of it.
Dr. Keith is my favorite character. He's hilarious.
Well, you'll see him again in episode 8.
I mean, someone.
Did you
And-
guys
Nice.
ever?
Bring him back? He's my
Huh?
favorite. He's hilarious.
What is it?
Did you guys ever listen to the two voice act
Sound
lines?
Yeah.
How'd you like those?
Those were actually pretty good.
Would you like
I don't
to
know
post
if
one
the-
here so that I can play it for the stream?
I have them saved. Let me.
Yeah, there's someone who emailed me, a fan of the game. I don't know if, that was actually the last I heard of him was years ago, and he just sent those things and said that if there was ever a voice version of Farnham Fables, he could do it, and he did a pretty good job, I'd say.
I mean, I
Really
do
good.
the voice version. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot more. Like with these voices, because some of the lines that I skipped the first time, after listening to it with the voice lines, I realized I missed out on some text that I would have liked to read, right? So, having a voice version, I believe, would get people to, I guess, listen to it a bit more.
The trick would be also finding the right voice actors, although I should probably do the narration, because no way you can expect anyone else to read all of that text.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for all of the miscellaneous options, you can leave them like the normal text, but for things like important things or funny bits, you can read them off. That'd save you a lot of time as well.
I suppose, but then again, it would be fun recording all 160 lines for Look at Teresa in the potion room.
You would make so many, it would take you so many hours, and the game would be incredibly huge.
And that's not an exaggeration. I counted. There are 160 different lines for Look at Teresa in the potion changing room.
On a little tangent, I didn't know that these old games had voice acting. Like when I played the Star Trek 25th anniversary game, it was just, text. And when I played Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, love that game. It was just text, because we only had like the demo or floppy version. I didn't even know CD versions with voice acting existed until like much later, like a decade later when, YouTube, and then suddenly I heard the actors from the shows saying the lines, and it's like, what?
Shocking, dude, like,
Huh.
bro.
Well, do
I
you
think
Blew my mind.
Voice acted.
do you like
I
the new
think the
voice
first-
acting ones?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, going from, plain text to voice acting, that's such a huge jump.
Are they the actual voice actors? Or they
The
just-
actual voice actor,
Oh.
the actual actors in the original Star Trek series did their lines in the 25th anniversary game.
Okay.
I
What
think
were
the
you saying?
first I think the first Sierra Adventure game I heard voiced was, I remember it was Space Quest 4, and I remember I had in my mind, I hope the narrator sounds like this, and then I hear it's Gary Owens, and I'm like, yes! He was the perfect choice to narrate Space Quest 4.
Are those sound files something that could be played on stream, or would audio be an issue?
Well, I'm taking all of your audio from the desktop, so if I hit it,
Oh, when was it? Yes, it was 10 days ago.
Oh yeah, I
that's
wouldn't
right,
hear it because
when I had developed a dreadful fever. Oh, it was nothing a few days of troubled bed
Just
rest
looked at
couldn't cure, but my
Answered,
sons...
how did you take the
such loving
screenshot? By
children.
having a cat walk over the
They
keyboard.
couldn't
Of course,
bear
that
to
makes
see me
sense.
suffering.
Cats know
Well,
how to
it
do
just
it.
so happens that in
In fact, my cat,
that
my
village
mom's cat, managed to install a printer on my computer one time.
Hey,
Whoa,
good
that-
karma upon
fucking
you
cat.
all, welcomed outsiders. Oh, you can just call me Dr.
And then there was the
Keith,
time he turned my
man, it's all
laptop
good.
off by just sitting in
So,
front of
what
the fan.
brings you
That was
hip
scary.
humans to my humble home? Oh man, you guys, what a total bummer! To hear the king's not feeling the good vibes he so richly deserves.
Oh, I didn't know the clips were going.
Oh, but wow, to come out all this way to help your father like that.
well, no, I was just playing like part of the clips, just to establish what they sound like.
Because I don't hear them.
Yeah, that's fine.
In the stream, you can hear them though. So
Yeah, I can tell through the desktop audio
Oh,
bar.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to, unmute the stream to
Yeah,
listen to it. It's like,
that's
oh, wait a
what I
minute.
Yeah.
threw me out
Yeah,
for
if I'm muted, I can hear.
Okay. Well, let's see. I really like the voice lines. Did both of them say they would come back and do voice lines?
Yeah, but although that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I haven't heard from since. It was from an email I got.
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in voice lines or something like that, I feel like it'd enhance the experience. You could even sell it as a DLC option on Steam.
Well, Tommy Chong absolutely has to voice Dr. Keefe, that's for sure.
Dr. Keith is dope.
Have you ever
man,
looked
he's
up
great.
the people who sent you the voice lines?
Probably years ago. You know, it's someone
Tommy
named...
Chong?
Oh, Tommy Chong is... I think that's his first name. Let me look it up.
Tommy Chong. Who is this? I mean, an older man comes up.
Yeah, from Cheech and Chong.
He sent you the voice lines?
No, that's who I'd want to voice Dr. Keefe.
Oh, I was about to say.
My gosh, if I heard from him, I'd be like, please voice Dr. Keefe. Your voice is who I based it off of.
Oh, I haven't watched Cheech and Chong in forever.
I need to someday. There's a lot of things I need to watch that I haven't.
Okay.
Like, I forget, and I can't remember. Those two things are good.
So let's see. I wrote down some of the questions from ZMM. Continue.
I'm wondering, since we've been talking about the, well, we talked about the NES at the beginning. Would you be like ever interested in programming like any like? So you can't really create games for the NES anymore unless you like basically mod it or like legit program it onto like one of the actual chips or get an emulator. Even emulators work, but it's like, I mean, you can still kind of make NES games. It's just a weirder process. Would you ever be interested in making an NES like style or like size of game?
Oh, that'd be awesome if I knew how. I mean, I could probably make something in Multimedia Fusion very NES-y. I mean, I do have this Mega Man-like game I want to make. So.
Didn't you change one of the sprites in a game?
I've done that with a lot of things.
Well, I think you sent me a modified ROM that you changed the sprites, one of the character sprites out for a lizard girl.
Oh, right, when I hacked Final Fantasy 1, and I decided, well, I want to play Final Fantasy 1 again, but I want to play Lizard Girl. And I'd actually created some various classes that would fit with the Final Fantasy classes, and I was like, oh, let's mess with the programming. And so I made, Final Fantasy 1 hack, where instead it's these Lizard Girl characters. Where do I have the sprites of that?
Wow. You can make an NES game. Come on, you can do it. We want to see it. We want to see it. Give us the NES game. Come
We
on.
want to see it.
We need to see
Yeah.
it.
But DOS is where it's at.
I mean, I grew up with the NES.
Where did I put it?
Well, yeah, same here,
Violently
but
defensive
DOS.
over NES. Jesus.
Let's see. So,
No.
Oh, it's in the SNES folder, because that makes sense. That's
see.
not the right one.
Oh, so you still have the sprite and everything?
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
looking for where I,
Good.
Whoops, that's a text file. So,
How
I
did
just
you
like how
even,
games
like,
feel when playing on the NES. So like, no matter what the game.
How
is
do
on
you
the
even
NES.
like change the sprites out and stuff?
oh, how to change the sprites in NES game
Yeah,
mod?
how do you like?
Tile layer.
Oh, okay.
So I have a question about the beginning story in episode 1.
Hmm.
So, Mitsuragi is the guard who is guarding the queen while she's visiting her sick brother. But the sister Naige and the daughter Callie are going to the castle to take a tour, but they end up meeting the queen and not the queen, the king, and hearing the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a correlation between the queen's sick brother and the king being sick in the story?
That's more because my original plan for the first one is Neji and Callie going to the castle, and I was going to have it that they would meet up with Mitsurugi, Callie's father, there, but I still don't know what he looks like. Eric never drew him out, and I also didn't know what the queen looked like either. So I was like, okay, how could I? I know I'll have it that the reason Neji has to bring Callie is because Mitsurugi was going to, but he has to do something with the queen. That way, I could not, have the both not have to do out graphics for the two of them and figure out what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more just a matter of convenience and figure out why would he need to escort the queen somewhere? Oh, because she has a brother who's sick.
Oh, there they are. Okay, yo.
And Sky just sent overworld sprites from another RPG I plan to make called Strontea.
That's the answer.
So what's Strontea
That's
about?
nice.
That was something I'm gonna need to rework again, but that's an RPG I've been working on for years. It's gonna be about these 8 characters that boy, am I oversimplifying. 8 characters that have to seal away these 5 demon-like characters. That is really oversimplifying things, but
You just don't want to give us the plot.
it's more because there's a lot of it's more because a combination of how complex things are, and there's a lot of rewrites here and there.
It's not finished.
Oh yeah, I understand.
So very much a lot of not finished.
So
here's the Lizard Girl sprites.
So do you
like
do you
those
draw
very
out
distant
everything that you make in your games? Like everything is drawn by you, or did you have somebody doing that?
Well, all the final sprites were done by me.
Mm-hmm.
But Eric and now Adam, I got a ton of when designing the characters for episode 3, Eric drew out a lot of character sketches for them. And he was basically a character artist, and I would also ask him to draw out poses that I could then resize and turn into sprites. And also some backgrounds like the front of the school, for example. Let's see. Older, this one. Oh, the fun of things taking a while to load.
Oh, that's fun.
Anyone thinks here we go. Well, here's the arting he did for outside Teresa's school, which was actually based on the school he used to go to.
Huh. So a lot of your art is based on areas that you two have been around during your life. You're not trying to take it from any place that you haven't been.
Varied. The place in Russia, I've never been to Russia, and I made up a place which my publisher named. I think it's called Romsk. I think that's how it's pronounced. He came up. I'll have to ask him. But mostly the setting of Farnham, Natick. Natick is a real place. Like I said, the farm in episode is based off of an actual farm I used to go to as a kid. And amazingly, when I went there to take photos, it still looked exactly the way it always did.
Okay.
And here's the sketch of inside that Eric did of inside the
house.
Yeah, the house in episode 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
You can see some differences and changes have been done here and there, but he also would do the character arting the cover art for episode 1 with Rachel and Gloria. He's the one that did that.
You'll recognize this next picture.
Hmm?
We're gonna recognize the next picture?
It's uploading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And Adam's a lot to thank for. Adam helped me by doing all the outlining for all of this for the background, and then I just colored it in.
It's so weird to see it as a real picture.
Okay.
Where's the machete?
I don't know how to feel right now. I'm confused. This is great.
A lot of the backgrounds are based off photos, so you can tell when they are.
Wow.
I'm going
So
through
are
my
the
old...
chicken coop and
Is
all that like based on like real places,
Yeah.
or are those just
That
oh, okay.
greenhouse, because it was locked. Is there a way in there? Or
No. Maybe in a later episode I might have going in here.
nice.
But what I'm uploading now is the photo I used for exactly what you're referring to.
what is in the clown shack?
Oh,
What? That's like dead on.
What's
I
in the
don't
clown
wanna know.
shed?
Like,
Tame
I didn't
clown.
see
in
that.
the
in the
real
game.
life
Oh.
clown shack, what is in the clown shack?
Uh,
You know,
Good
the one
question.
behind the skeleton's
It's-
house.
Clowns.
clowns.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
let's see. It's
We
going to
don't
be in the
talk
same
about the
folder
clown.
because it was in the it was actually in the deep. I want to say deep forest area behind the farm area. So I actually do have the photo in. Okay, I'm in the right section.
My
Oh,
guess
yeah,
is
here it
spiders.
Detail of that section there.
Oh, and what's up
Right
with the
there, the detail
pencil
is like-
on the left?
Oh, the pencil? You can pick it up, and there's two things you can actually write on: wood panel and the
Oh my
unpainted
God.
board. And here's the
Ah.
clown shed.
So what's in the clown shed? I need to know.
Clowns.
There's no clowns in that clown shed. I don't believe
Or will be when I'm done with it.
It looks like a wood storage shed to me.
Yeah, I think it's just a storage shed. I didn't really get a good look inside of it. But this was like,
In the game, there's a hole in the tree that you can like literally click on and do stuff with, even though it like tells you it doesn't really have a function or something. But it's like really cool.
yep.
It's like that's too much detail. That's great though. I enjoyed that part.
Now I'm recalling one of my favorite interactions is when you it's where's the screenshot? Give shed door to buckets. And Dream Logic briefly shows a bunch of sad clowns carrying the door in a bucket through a funeral procession while playing the messed up version of the basement theme from Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's so weird seeing it side by side.
Yeah,
Oh my
I was about
God.
to actually get
In a
all
tree that you can do stuff.
screenshots.
Oh my god.
You think that's crazy? Now here's another little detail. Where's the best example?
I love
You'd be able
hearing
to
your
do something with that
reactions.
string right there.
Bro.
Yeah, I figured you'd be able to do something with that string right there. I kept messing with it, seeing if I could ever like click on it. But it
Oh!
no.
Have you tried holding the middle mouse button down?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it. If you hold down the middle mouse button, it'll show you everything you can interact.
Like, does it
Really?
highlight it?
Yo!
Oh,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
shows a white box around everything you can click
I
on.
wish I knew that.
Why is this not up front?
Scanning o-
That would have made everything
Dude,
so
I-
easy.
I was scanning over like every screen to find stuff.
It's to
Oh
give
my
you the
God.
old game way of doing it, plus a little help.
I spent
Fuck
20
that.
minutes messing with that faucet and it didn't do anything for me. Does something happen or was I just literally losing my mind over that?
What, the faucet you can turn on and off in episode 4?
Yeah.
Turn on and off, it won't let me.
You mean the one located...
The crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the one
wait,
here?
that thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Well,
It is
that's
my
because
enemy.
that's actually a background. I took a background from Companions of Xanth and pixeled over it, and that was part of it. And I was like, I'll keep it in there and have it something you can interact with.
And then you gave it every option of not being able to do anything that I'd like tried everything with.
The best.
Yep.
In the
Everything
original,
has to do something.
The best was the
Has to be
wrench. When you use the wrench on it, it's like that was a very good idea, but it still does not work.
Very good idea. But sadly, still does not work. And that's what I was talking about. If you used a rock on it, it would like swim up the pipe and like clog it just to spite you. And I was like, what? No.
Have you thought of doing anything like combo items? Like you use two items in succession of each other to cause an effect?
well, there's the sandwich. Oh, no, that's something else.
Yeah, in episode 3, you can put the apple slices into the sandwich.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mhm.
I'm trying to find. Did you ever use the
Yeah, you can give it to
wrench
you.
on?
Fire hydrant.
Yeah, on the fire hydrant.
I might have.
No, I didn't. I forgot about. I did not. I forgot about the fire.
Where's the gosh darn screenshot? I have so many images to sort through with.
You're not the one with 6 terabytes of storage in his computer.
That is a lot of bytes that
Jesus
are made out of
Christ.
Terra.
Okay,
A lot of earth.
I did like
bites.
a mental count going through my rooms and how many hard drives I have. I have between 40 and 45 hard drives.
But why?
Because I need storage.
What are you doing with
Fuck.
all the storage?
I store stuff.
But what are you storing?
Everything?
For 6 terabytes, you have to be storing, like, full-on...
No, I have
like,
way more than
movies.
Well, yes. I have, like, every YouTube video that I like downloaded.
Well, at least you'll have it when
That's
the
all.
apocalypse hits.
That actually kind of is the point. I mean, I do have survival videos. I mean, all I need is just a, 120-volt generator.
Dude, are you that dude that like posts
Wow.
videos when they like go down?
Huh?
Are you the dude that like posts videos like when they go down, like get taken down? Because I know a lot of people do that.
Nope, I don't post
Download it
videos.
later.
Bro.
I just kind of rewatch them because I hate... Okay, part of being a dragon is dragons usually have hordes.
Yeah.
My horde happens to be made of data and information.
Yeah.
So rather than having, piles of newspapers like these humans do, all of my horde fits in a nice 3.5-inch form factor.
Oh,
Humans,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. What humanoid race
Yo,
is
what
Janine
is
Layton?
what is Inmo?
I'm jealous. I wish I could do that.
Hmm?
Being a
What is Inmo?
lowly
I
human.
see in the Discord.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Someone mentioning the Enmo. That's actually got a good story behind it. So first, something I'd always
Thank you for
planned on having is you can create your own profile file. Is when you press P on the title screen, you can actually create a profile. And if you do all the instances of where it says "Dear Viewer" will be replaced with the name that you put in. Also, you'll get to see F3 on the title screen greeting you and such. But after doing that, and I actually didn't think of it until after releasing episode 1, I added in a feature which I refer to as nudie mode, where during gameplay you can press N and then either hold down middle mouse button or mouse over the characters and see how they look outfitless. And
What?
funny thing, here's the funny part: the reason I put in nudie mode is so that I wouldn't feel I have to shoehorn in nudity for every character in like later episodes or such.
Dude, I'm launching Farnham.
What about like the places where there's
I
like
want-
legit 30 characters in the same room?
I want to see this.
Yes.
That's where it's a lot of fun to use.
So, nudie mode's in just the first episode, or all the episodes?
Oh, it's in all the episodes. And again, it only works during gameplay. Like, when, like that last screenshot showing the text, it wouldn't work while that text's there. But if, like, you have a list of choices, but basically, as long as the mouse cursor is just the ordinary cursor, it'll work. And part of that is because, I admit, partially laziness, but also because there were some cutscenes where it's okay, but I just didn't feel comfortable. Like, Callie on King Farnham's lap, and I was like, I don't really want to do a nudie version of that,
Yeah.
I guess. And it just mildly bothered me, but like I say, having it, for during gameplay, other characters, my thinking there is, well, it's basically, it's like, oh, so you want to see how the characters look out for this? Okay, go ahead, there you go. Now you can just focus on everything else instead.
And the reason that every sprite has the different version is because the character was posed first, and then the clothing was put on after.
Okay, yo, this is.
Sometimes.
Whoa. Whoa.
I like hearing your reaction.
Bro, this is like. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. So the king and
The
everything?
king has a naked sprite.
No,
So-
because he's only showing up in the cutscenes. So it doesn't
Oh,
work
yeah.
during cutscenes, just during gameplay.
Did you draw a
Actually,
naked sprite for the king?
Not in the game, but if you go to the website, you'll see that I've done in each episode list. I actually have it that I actually did out sprites of all the characters as though if they were playable, and that didn't link right at all.
So,
Left HTTP stuff. Let me try
Oh,
that.
it has a space in it. That's why it broke.
would you be
There we go.
would you be interested in adding an option where people could import their own sprites and play as, I guess, their OC in a game?
Oh, that'd be.
Probably not, because this is focused on the characters
Yeah, you're.
and
Mm-hmm.
mean, they can pretend themselves they are the. Well, the way I have the. I'm going all over the place. I sort of see these, I say these are like TV shows, but they're also kind of like plays. Imagine a play where, like, you're given a list of things you can shout out to the actors, and the actors will either, have something scripted or they'll make up on the spot how that interaction will work, and that's kind of how I imagine.
I would love that.
That's kind of how I imagine it's like the player is, you, the audience, I guess, and it'll even reference that at times.
Okay.
What happened if you click P? You create
Yeah,
what?
create a profile.
P.
profile. How do I do that exactly? P?
You gotta be in the main menu. Yeah.
Yeah, on the title screen
Oh,
or episode select on the Steam version, you press P, and I might need to update it because the way I have it set up is that it saves your profile in the same folder that the exe file is in, which might be hard to find for Steam players, and never considered that.
this is actually like detail that I never would have imagined existed.
Oh,
like, creating a full-on profile. Jesus.
Every single instance of clothing in the game is also affected by nudity mode. So, like,
Even
your hat
drawings,
inventory item will disappear. The glove on the shovel will disappear. Everything.
The flower? What about the flower? Every wearable thing? Like even the flower, like for the mermaid, because that's a wearable thing.
I think so. I can't remember if I did
Wow.
that.
Even, objects and icons, everything.
Bro.
I'm just surprised
Again-
that like during my normal playthrough I was able to like find a glitch. That really got me.
I still can't believe that glitch existed. How did I make it 4 and greater instead of 4 or lesser? Gosh darn it.
Hey, to be fair, I always have problems with those too.
But what gets me is the way I used to put the text in the game is I just write, and then I test it out later. But less than halfway through episode 3, I decided I would do it like I'd write out the text and then immediately load it up and test it out, which just take a few seconds the way it works.
Yeah.
And I found that worked so much better and created far less mistakes. And that's why I can't believe that mistake existed, because like, okay, I must have tested it out, but why would it still break? What did I do differently?
Okay, let's see. Who is your favorite character from Farnham Fables?
The barcode flag in episode 4 in Barcode Land.
The barcode flag.
Barcode flag.
Okay, that's my joke answer. It's because what I find I just find it so ridiculous. It's this flag that's doing a terrible job at being a flag somehow.
Uh-huh.
And it's like trying to figure out how is a flag doing a terrible job? Like, oh, it's pretending it's flat. It's not actually flapping in the breeze. It's pretending it's flapping in the breeze. It's like it's an incompetent flag. How does that even work?
Now, you just made up like a barcode texture and just applied it to everything? Or
They all work. They all scan.
I actually found a barcode generator online.
Actually.
So what those things are called, that's actually what the barcode says they are.
Bro.
And I tested them. I loaded up a barcode scanner on my phone, took pictures of my monitor, and they all worked.
That's really in depth. That's something I did not expect.
And the origins of Barcode Land are actually from my ZZT days. One of the things me and my cousin, we make a room that was just completely black and white and boring. It's like, it's Barcode Land, and a whole list of things, no having fun, blah, blah, blah. And that was kind of what the joke was. And so I wanted to bring it back here and expand upon it.
No having fun in Barcode Land.
Barcode Land, the most boring place ever.
That makes me weird because I find barcodes fascinating.
And the son is not allowed to drive the car anymore. Another one of my favorite lines. I also like the fourth one is called an adult shop, and it's like, what do you mean adult shop? Do I want to check it out? Okay, and Teresa reluctantly peeks in, and all that's in there is like newspapers, practical clothing, business software.
Business software.
Adult stuff.
Suits, ties, formal dress.
kitchen appliances.
Kitchen appliances.
Well, now I feel bad because now I want to actually see the store.
Ah,
But as for who my favorite character is, it kind of fluctuates. And it also depends, like, in how. So, like, on one hand, you could say Teresa is my favorite because she's my best fantasy friend, but I'm also really fond of Winona because she's pretty amusing.
Rachel.
Rachel's okay.
so is there a reason for the main characters being young, or is that just a preference?
Both, I guess. Well, girls are cute. That's why
Episode 1, it was all the princes.
Mm-hmm. But the princes, I don't believe they said they were above 18.
Oh, they're in their 20s.
They are?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Frederick is 20.
One has a beard.
Hey,
Oh,
I had
I'm
a
glad you
beard
brought
when I
that
was
up.
14.
I'm glad you brought that up because Philip having a beard is kind of not a joke, but so Philip. I just found it so amusing, the idea that of the three brothers, it's the youngest one that has a beard. You'd expect it'd be the oldest one to have a beard, but
Yeah.
nope, it's the youngest that's got the beard.
Yeah, genetics, bro. Gotta love 'em.
Let's see. See, Philip, I think, is 23. Fludor is 25, and Frederick is 28.
Oh. Okay. So,
The second episode, you got the grandpa over here. Wow. you can
First
you can,
dude
hit,
that I went.
you can hit him up with the
Yeah.
nice. He's just chilling out watching some TV.
I think he's watching Baywatch.
Oh, yeah,
maybe.
you're right. Like the interactive objects, there's like the boots right there on the ground beside the fireplace. You can get those.
How old is Wolford? Wolford's 67. Wendy's 13. Winona's 8. Can't believe I have to look these up myself.
You have a lot of characters. I don't hold it against you.
yeah, you have like,
Well, it's
what,
only triple
like
digits.
30 of the game or more.
I only have my... Well, okay. I have Sky, Fiona, Percy, a couple others. I
Episode
don't...
3 only shows. The way I find out how many are in episode 3 is I just go to the characters list of the website and I do put the number for the. Yeah, episode 3 has only got 58 characters.
Only.
And you can only interact. But you can only interact with 57 of them.
Ah.
Yeah. Episode 3, shortest one for you because it felt like the shortest one playing it. Like it went by relatively quickly compared to the other ones, and then 4 was like definitely the longest.
Really, I thought
3?
1 would be the shortest. Well, I guess 3
No,
is the
like,
shortest
I
if you
spent way
just.
more time on 1.
I guess 3 if you just do all the
I did.
plot stuff. But one thing I'm
Interactive
pleased with.
stuff that I could do, but it's like I'm just saying the main storyline. It felt like it was like really quick.
Well, one big thing about episode 3 is that there's at least 4 different places where, like, what the students are doing is different. Like in the big field. Oh, good, I still have my.
Yeah.
You know, like when you brought back one of the animals, it's set up like this. Brought back 2, it's set up like this. And you can see that there's actually kind of like a mini story going on here.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Right.
there's actually like 4 copies of the entire game as time passes.
Bro.
4 or 5. I forget.
Oh my god. Dude, this is
Again, the
insane.
level of detail goes so deep. It goes through the planet and out the other side and then to the moon.
It's
Now
like
don't forget
you're
all the
changing stuff
interaction.
in the other stories while this is happening and you can't even see them. It's like you're changing things that we're not even gonna be able to get to even while it's happening. There's a lot of detail.
Like,
Here's a
so,
fun challenge. See how many students you can give sandwich to.
so, how long would you think it would
my
take
God.
somebody to do a completionist of this game?
Oh boy.
Oh, I think that'd be impossible because there, like, so some episodes would have like, there's some things you, like, I'm thinking like in episode 2, for example, at the very beginning, you know, there's that sequence at the cow pasture, and that can be done with them either still in their Sunday bests, or they can get changed first, or you know they can get changed later, and you know all the interactions change based on that. Plus, there's of course that part at the end where you can have Winona talk to the apple tree 3 times and an apple randomly falls down. But if you leave the stick there, it'll knock the stick over, and that'll actually change a lot of the interactions.
What?
There's a lot of context and variables that the game checks for.
Just take. Like,
Basically, every possible combination of variable has unique text.
Don't forget, you can paint the stick blue as well.
And then everybody has to
the
react
keys
to
to
the blue
the
stick.
keys. That was like the only thing that didn't work. Giving keys to keys.
I just think it would take
Yeah, giving the
so
key.
long. If you had to do every interaction, it would at least
Yup.
be like a day to get done with the first game.
Yeah.
You should like, if you ever like key problem, like if you fix it legit, then you should like make a reference to it in the future, like for the first few players that ever like figured it out. You'd be like, you should make a joke about giving keys to keys or something. I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you how to make your game that doesn't, you know, Easter.
Now I'm thinking, there's 2 things in episode 3 that get referenced that are going to be not important, but backgrounds. Like in episode 3, if you try to give the apple to the canoe, it said, "Wouldn't it be strange if an apple actually rolled down here under the canoe?" And I'm like, okay, I guess in episode 8, I'm going to have that be there.
Mm-hmm.
And also Barnabas saying he might. Here it is. Give apple to canoe in episode 3. Philip wonders if any apples from the apple tree ever fell off and rolled down here and under the canoe, but that seems like an extremely unlikely coincidence. So I'm like, okay, episode 8, gonna have an apple under. Oh yeah, there's also one other interesting little detail I meant to bring up. You know how episode 2 and 3 kind of reuse a lot of the same rooms? I'll use this one. So see if you can notice. Here's how the tractor place looks in episode 2, and here's how the tractor place looked in episode 3. Look at the sky.
Oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, clouds moved. Wow.
Yeah, because it's another day, so
Different.
in every reused room, I redrew the clouds.
Bro.
So not technically a
No,
reused
bro.
asset.
Wow.
Mad props, bro. Holy shit.
This is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yo, even the fucking, Oh wait, no, the horses are. I thought the horses. Holy shit.
So
Oh yeah, the horses moved in episode 2. The horses were there, but in episode 3 they moved somewhere else. You don't see them here because this is productions. This is the actual background rather than a screenshot.
Okay.
So do you think there would be, like, if you continue running these games, would you include the deaths of characters?
Well, episode 4 has a lot of deaths in it. Oh, I get what kind of joke deaths. But for the serious part of the question, I'm never going to kill off any characters because I don't like killing off characters.
Well, I'm not saying killing off characters, but I mean, like, you show one of your characters growing up, like, the 8-year-old grows to be, like, 20, right? And the grandpa passes away.
Well, in the sense of, like, maybe future, if, like, an episode shows, my plan here is I'm kind of doing, I think let's use, like, cartoon time. You know how, like, The Simpsons are always the same age all the time?
Yeah.
Kind of doing that here just to make life easier. Because, oh gosh, think I'll be like, okay, designed all the students. Now, next year, design more students that show up. It's like, I'm already making millions of characters.
You gotta have, like, that whole database of different characters and how they interact.
Yeah,
Characters list, which isn't finished, by the way. I still need to add more characters there. I haven't put in all the people like Kutsu, which is 50 plus, and they'll be showing up in episode 8 along with all the students from episode 3 and their parents. That's going to be a lot, and got an idea for how they'll be moving around, and it's going to be interesting.
Have you
Do
made...
you have like a list of people, like a
Yeah.
list somewhere of all the characters that you can keep up with? 'Cause it must be hard to like keep up with it.
Oh yeah, I've got this character sheet thing, and I've got by alphabetized. But I've also been working on, I want to say, a double-sized sprites I'm going to show on the website, and they're going to be 8 directionals, so you can actually, hoping that'll help with people doing fan art, because that'd be awesome. I love fan art.
Let's see.
I'm a fan, but I can't art.
Oh man, I can't either.
Oh, I've seen your art. It's fine. It's for me. It's the passion behind it. You know, even
My,
if
my
someone does,
technique is get something written down as fast as possible before the image leaves your brain.
Oh yeah. That's a real problem for me.
I would love more. In fact, getting fan art is. If I were to say I had a personal interests to be gained from making these games, it would be fan art and having a TV tropes entry. I'd love to see that.
Okay.
Life goals: get on TV tropes.
Yeah.
TV tropes. I actually don't.
Here's an example of my art.
I like it.
Nice.
Actually, that looks better than I was expecting.
Clean, not gonna lie. Not
Wow.
gonna lie, it's really clean.
It's what's his name?
You never showed me this. I'm
Hopfell.
gonna save that.
He's super C sharp, or I forget the pun. What was the pun? Super programmer.
Oh, that's what I was going for, like direct, like C++. Oh, like yo.
Yeah, he's a programmer.
IKEA weaponry.
This just makes me want to see you do more fan art. Because it looks awesome.
It's really difficult.
It takes time to draw.
Well, no, that's the thing. I don't take the time to draw. I just dump it as fast as possible. That's why, I'm hiding the hands.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fine. It's the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the thought that counts. And I say I love.
Patronizing. This sounds like man. It looks
No,
great.
it
I
always
can't draw at
bothers-
all. It's
See, it just
fine.
always bothers me. It's like, oh, I draw fan art. I'm just a bad artist, and I'm like, I don't care. I love fan art, no matter how level of quality. I mean, look at my sprite work. You think that's good?
Well, here's Happy Halloween.
Alright, somebody's fleck. Look at that's really good.
Pac-Man hands.
Pac-Man hand.
Yo.
The
Good point.
Pac-Man ghosts.
I can't even draw a normal hand.
So you can tell what you're looking at.
I
That's
don't even
because
have
pumpkins-
hands. Wait a minute. Yeah. Looks great.
Okay. Well, let's see. What
I'm
else do
actually
I
just
have?
gonna save it real quick. No joke. Hey,
Someone mentions that. I just know someone mentioned in the channel that they'd like to make a TV tropes page, but I'm not sure they'd be cool with all the nudity in game. I'm like, have you seen some of the things they reference in TV tropes? There's a TV tropes entry for this anime that's all about students getting a teacher naked. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. You could always contact the people from TV tropes, I guess. See if they'd be interested in it.
The only reason I don't is it just seems, I don't know, a little pompous. Like, hey, I made a game, put a TV tropes entry because I, the creator, said to. It just feels
Well, I don't really.
off.
What is TV tropes? Like, what does it do?
TV tropes will ruin your life. They say. What the deal with TV tropes is that it's
It's the master list of every writing technique ever.
So you believe you've developed a technique?
It's well, the way TV tropes works is like, there's, think of a trope like
The princess needs saving, or the princess is strong, or like every storytelling mechanic there is called a trope.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you go there and they give a brief description, and that's like less than 1% of what the page is about. The rest of the page is saying, now here's every single piece of media that references it and how it references it.
So you want to be one of those medias that reference the TV trope. You're not thinking of making a trope.
Well, I mean, they'll list something like for Farnham Fables, they would probably list. I mean, it'd be like you'd look at the entry of TV tropes of Farnham Fables, and they would say, here are the tropes that are used, and then explain how they're used.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so bad at explaining this. Maybe if I find a good TV tropes entry that I like.
I think it's like the workers would probably have to decide on the game they play, and then they would write the article. I mean, you could always suggest your game to them. That's not gonna. I don't think that looks bad on you. It's you saying, "Hey, I have a game. I reference these things. We have a small
Here's an
community.
idea.
I'd like it to be seen."
Ooh, yeah, someone's suggesting stuff like, there's a trope called royals who actually do something. Royals that actually do something, and that would be one of the entries there. Explaining like the three princes go on adventures, blah blah blah, something like that. Why don't I actually find that entry? The royals that actually do entry. Thank you, Twitch.
Okay.
Royals that actually.
So
Shift.
the next topic I have is the cheese, right? Like the cheese girl.
Ooh, the cheese wedge dating simulator
Yes.
character. Yeah.
In that
I'm sure
scene
there's many questions.
So Teresa is able to break the fourth wall.
Because dream logic.
Because dream logic.
Yeah, obviously. Dream logic allowed everything, including time travel.
Also, what sexuality is the cheese?
I think I actually answered that on the website. Let me check.
Is the cheese female? Male? What is the cheese?
Oh yeah, it is female. Let's see what I put under. Yeah, it's on the episode 4 thing under others.
So if this is Teresa's dream
And
the cheese is female, what does that make Teresa?
Annoyed.
Annoyed.
She's very much annoyed.
Be gone,
cheese
thought.
wedge. Age 17 and 365th. And weight, maybe. Ethnicity, normal. Blood type, whole milk plus. Bust, ridiculous. Hip, 2. Waist, 1. Religion, the only correct one. And politics, demopublicerialism. Interests, not applicable.
Jesus.
So why is the cheese
The only correct one.
Obviously, the cheese god is more.
So why is the cheese going out and dating people?
Dream. It's
Are you trying to suppress cheese rights, Michael?
Is the cheese going to be a reoccurring character?
I hope not.
no.
I want the cheese.
It's supposed to be a parody of those. It's a parody of those, dating novels that take a silly concept. Like, I admit, the number one thing that inspired me was seeing Shark Dating Simulator, and then I saw stuff
you
like,
mentioned that earlier.
like Alpaca Dating Simulator, and
there was T-Rex Dating Simulator. That one was fun.
and so
It turns
like,
out the T-Rex knows how to fiddle.
Yeah.
Woo!
Ooh.
Little hands got it going.
So, I don't know. I just like to see some goof character reappear. Like, even if it was the cheese, because the cheese just is, it's a little funny aspect.
Imagine like a bar or something, you see the cheese on.
Well, Fred, Ethel, and Gulliver Dorbies will be returning in other episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Fred the deer, Ethel the deer, and their best friend Gulliver Dorbies.
Gulliver Dorbies.
Gulliver Dorbies.
Okay.
He appears in the dream so far. If that cheese shows up, like, once you get into that bar room, but in, like, real life, that would that would be insane.
So
Cheese is real. It's like, what?
And she ends up with Koibito Osoroshi, which translates into terrible lover.
what about confusion or misdirection in the games?
That's on accident.
And which regards, because I'm sure there's a lot of that.
That boss that I told you about was misdirection. I could have sworn it was gonna do something.
Like elements you put in that seem important, but they really do nothing for the advancement of the story.
Red herrings.
Yeah, red herrings.
Oh yeah, that's I know episode 2 has a lot of those with like how episode 2 has a lot of inventory items you need to use.
Yeah, you can get like inventory locked.
You guys.
No. You can drop items. All you have to do is just give the item to the room itself by interacting with the.
Really?
I remember watching you guys play through the first game.
I got
And-
stuck with a shit ton of stuff. And I
Yeah,
couldn't
you just
figure
started gathering up everything.
out- Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Right.
adventure game logic. Take everything that's not nailed down.
I couldn't get rid of it, and I was like, well, shit, gotta
I had my
restart. Picked up
inventory
the
full,
imports.
so I started like. And
Did you
this
also
is the second
notice-
episode when I did this thing?
Did you also notice that when you're in your Sunday clothes, you only have like 3 or 4 pockets, but when you put on your work clothes, you get more
Oh, I did not
inventory
notice
slots?
Yes.
that. I didn't even notice that.
I had filled my inventory with the max amount of inventory slots, right? So then it's like just to clear up 1 or 2 spaces when I needed to grab something, I'd go and start feeding the fruit to the brother. I was like, just eat it. I need my inventory.
Just
Yeah,
eat it.
dude, I tried to get rid of something, pick up something. You know, like
Yeah, the way you drop items is you'll notice that the name of the room at the top of the screen, you can actually interact with that as interacting with the room itself, and you
Right.
can just give item to room.
That was an
And-
aspect in the desert.
First time you had to use it was the desert, and Michael was like asking me how to do that forever, and I was like,
yeah, dude, I was like, yo,
like,
how do
you have to. Yeah, I kept saying you
Yeah.
have to dig the desert, just to be an idiot about it.
Desert.
dude, I'm like, bro.
You should make like a FAQ for people who just get completely stuck.
Yeah.
Well, like my cousin says, I need to make a
something I
graphic.
couldn't figure out. Something that had me stuck that was part of the actual storyline was like, after I had all 6 keys, I had to give them to the water, like the peanut butter river, and I'm like, I didn't understand that I needed to give it to the peanut butter river. But then Michael told me, and I was like, oh well, now I feel like an idiot. But you know,
Like I say, it's a mixture of inspiration and frustration that gets Teresa just chucking him in there, and then you get an animation,
yeah.
Oh,
which where I actually just play some notes on piano and go, "Whoa, dude," and then add filters to make it all crackly and old.
Yeah, I loved that. The whoa dude was great. That little sun popping up, nice.
Well, the reason for that is I'd asked my cousin to draw out how the rainbow bridge would look, and he did, and then he just added that sun, and I'm like, I'm putting that in the game.
Did you decide on 6 rather than like 7 because of dream logic, I assume, or what?
Yeah, because, the color of the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I grew up with it just being 6 colors.
Oh,
that's
And
Wait,
I just
what?
figured 6 would be
dream
good.
logic.
So that's done.
Indigo
that's
violet,
Done,
you
that's
just-
done.
Press the purple.
That's done.
Also, another little effect you might not have noticed is that you can get the keys in any order, and you notice that they'll always be in the proper color order on the keyring, no matter what order you get them in.
Yes.
Oh shit.
He spent a
That
few
was-
days on that one.
That was tricky
Really?
to program.
I didn't know if it was just gonna be like a default. Like I didn't notice that, but that's a lot of attention to detail. Wow.
Again, you shouldn't. There's a lot of detail. Like in episode 2, you can fill the bottle with water, and you can paint your blue fingernail paint on a lot of objects, and you can use the water to remove it again.
Like
Really?
the
No.
Yeah.
the mailbox, the panel.
Let's see if I can find the
Barnabas
spreadsheet.
the dog, Alice the horse.
Certain order.
You're
in a
right on
certain
the
color
horse.
Order. Is there any secrets? Are there any like secrets if you get them in a certain color order? Because that'd be like really cool Easter egg. But
Wait, say it again. Did you just ask if there's a secret if you get them in a certain color order?
put them in the proper rainbow order. Like does something fun happen or no?
Try getting just the red, yellow, and green rainbow keys and then showing them to the traffic light.
Secrets. Yes, this is the stuff I live for. red, yellow, and green keys. Got it. I'm going right now. Don't even worry about it. Huh.
Post a screenshot when it happens.
Okay. A screenshot.
I need to. Where did I save the sprite sheets? I want to show just the part with the sticks and the being painted. I know I have those things saved. I don't know where.
Well, you might just have to
But
go
all
into
the
the
places
game.
you can. What all the places where you can leave the stick in episode 2?
Yeah, that part of the sprite sheet.
Yeah, a shorter list would be all the places you can't leave the stick, because you can leave that stick gosh darn anywhere almost. Oh yeah, and you can also put the pencil in the bucket where the shoehorn is.
Just put it in there.
Yep. And you'll get different messages whether the shoehorn or the pencil is blue or not.
You put pencil in bucket. You put blue pencil in bucket. Oh.
Yes.
I took a screenshot. Oh, here's one of the places Wendy can leave the stick. Okay, Wendy jams the stick into the bushes. Great job, Wendy!
It's just left there. Is the barn a different color?
Actually, that's a good question. Let me check. No, it's blue because Wendy likes the color blue. But you'll notice that there's a lot more stuff on the table. Because you can leave the shoehorn there, you can leave the bottle there. Also, you can try putting the pebble on top of the shoehorn, and there'll be a sprite for that inside the house. And you can try putting the nail polish on top of the screws and the nails, and the sprite for that in the house as well. And you can also put the nail polish on the sprite for that as well.
Just combo objects. So, why in the first game did you put, what's it called? The little girl, I don't remember her name, Gloria, into the player's inventory instead of making it a player character?
Because I thought it would be easy. Well, my thinking was, I guess I just didn't want to.
Her, wasn't he, though? Like, he was legit, like,
Yeah, it was
carrying her.
Frederick. Yeah, Frederick was carrying her or just leading her by the hand or stuff. In fact, I'm going to be repeating something like that in episode 8, where Callie, Gloria, and Teresa are going to be inventory items, because episode 8 has you playing as Neji, Rachel, and Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just like the character, it's basically just, the character is with them, but, you can't have that character leading or something like that. That's basically why I did it.
Okay.
Let's see. I think I'm almost done with my sheet. I know, the interview's coming to a close. We've been in this call for about 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Longer! Let's go longer.
I am a rambling man with words and...
Well, I can't ask questions if I don't have, questions wrote down. So, we will have to end soon. I have just a few more. Let's see. So, episode 6, you said it was going to be a courtroom drama. You mind giving any more explanation on that?
Yep, so the way the first half of the game is going to be like investigation style, which will be played through like normal. So the deal of that is there's a girl named Iritutia, and that actually is her real name. She gets accused of starting a fire in some warehouse, but she actually didn't do that, and she actually is being framed. And so the main character there is this Fox guy lawyer named Martin Goldberg, and he's agreed to represent her in court. Mm-hmm. And, through the investigation, he finds out about who's framing her, but he has no way to prove it. So, at first, he's basically just going to try and get her a not guilty verdict. And it took me a long time to finally figure out how I'm going to do the gameplay for that. It's not going to be the same gameplay as Ace Attorney, even though this was heavily inspired by Ace Attorney. Mm-hmm. But basically trying to figure out how can I do this style with Farnham, presenting evidence and stuff. And it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a more serious story-based episode. And Sky posted the old artings Eric did of the characters in his good style. Face graphic ease, which might also recognize as the art that was used for the badges on Steam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Steam wanted badges.
Oh, I just found. I think this is the stuff from the church scene.
Stuff from the church scene. Oh yeah, all the arting Eric did for.
He drew every single character. What a mad lad.
And he drew them dressed too, so I had to actually, that was where I did the dressed version first, and then I had to do the outfitless version second, and I don't know which is easier or harder to do. It's in the same sense, I don't know whether it's easier or harder to do a background from a photograph or do a background from the artings. They both have their pros and cons.
So,
yeah.
Do you have any more info on, the shark people? How are they able to stay on land? Do they have to constantly be moving like another shark? Anything like
nope.
that?
Give us a shark people story.
Actually, that's a good topic for how these animal people function. And a term I like to use, which isn't even that accurate, is mega manning things up. Now, what I mean by that, and again, this is not accurate at all, but sometimes in Mega Man, he gets the weapons from the other enemies, but I noticed that sometimes the weapon he'd get would actually be like an inferior version of that. And so I was thinking, like, a similar case for the animal people would be like, you know how hyenas are known for strong jaws?
Yes.
Well, the hyena people their jaws wouldn't be that strong, but they'd be like, think of like how how strong a human's jaw could get. It could get pretty strong, and that'd be like, I guess, the default for them.
Yes.
So it's but otherwise they're mostly human. Like same with the shark people. Like I don't think they even have gills.
They just have the tail.
Yeah, because I guess I'm a fan of the humanoid style. In fact, that probably the only real argument me and Eric had one time where I let him win because I agreed with his logic. I originally wanted all the characters to have always human style feet, and he wanted to have some characters having hooves and stuff. And what made me decide to agree with that is my thinking of, well, I don't want to have to make it like, what if he designs a character with hooves that to be part of the series? I don't want it to be like, oh, you want to be part of the series? Well, you got to conform to this, and it just seemed
You got to get human
wrong
feet.
it seemed wrong to force a character to be something they're not, I guess. Plus the fact that in episode 1 I already pixeled out Neji and Callie having different style feet, so it's like I'd already gone against what I was arguing, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna let him win this.
Okay.
Also, you might recognize that Neji and Callie are in episode 2.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if they're ever mentioned in 3, but I know that Teresa can call she can try to call Neji on the phone and gets a hold of Callie, which leads to 2 personal incidences I had to put into that, where Callie trying to tell Teresa this joke is based off of, I had a cousin who, when he was like 3 or 4, was trying to tell me this joke on the phone, and I asked him to repeat it like 15 times because it's like, knock knock, who's there? Banana. Banana who? Banana didn't say banana. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. When I called them on the phone, and I was like, I have had experiences with that joke many times.
And so Teresa was like, Callie, I don't understand. Oh, and then Callie starts pushing the buttons, and that's based off of a different phone call I had with my cousin, where when he was like 2, and I was talking to Grandpa on the phone, and Grandpa was like, oh, do you want to talk to Charlie now? And I was like, oh, sure. And I was like, hi, Charlie, how you doing? And I hear beep, boop, beep. And in the background, Grandpa goes, Charlie, don't push the buttons.
Yeah.
It's part of being
Well,
a
that's
kid.
Because I'm trying to do that stoplight thing. Which one gives you the red key and which one gives you the green key?
The barcode king gives you the red key, the cheese wedge gives you the yellow, and the cake in the drunk skeleton side quest gives you the green one.
Okay. So, let's see. So you
I think a
play...
good next question is the...
What?
I was saying, I think the next good question is the heart. Your heart is like a pineapple. Any questions? Well, that's because when Eric did out the sketch for that place,
Yeah?
he had this poster which was supposed to just have like a heart on the wall. I'm looking for it. And I asked, Adam to, do out some spritey stuff for that. And he thought the heart looked like more like a pineapple. And so then he went online, got a pineapple. Is that it? There we go. Here's the sketchifyings. Yeah, and Adam thought that looked more like a pineapple, so we went online, got these 2 images of a heart and a pineapple, and I actually didn't know he did that, so he showed it to me. I was like, oh, someone else has the same idea as we do. He was like, no, I made that. And I was like, oh, I thought you just found it. And so we decided that's what the poster was going to be. Your heart is like a pineapple. Any questions? Philip has many questions.
Okay. Philip has many questions.
I've still been unsuccessful in finding the sprite sheet.
For what?
Any of the episodes. I know I have like multiple copies saved.
So,
I mean,
Oh, here's something interesting.
I can send them.
so what
I got 'em all.
generation did you grow up in?
Say again?
What generation did you grow up in? What were the consoles that you had around your time?
I'd say Nintendo to something. I was born in 1984, so... I'd say early 90s, my main generation, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I've got a Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Game Gear, DS, 3DS, PlayStation 1 and 2, GameCube. I think the Wii is my newest-ish console, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't gotten many console games. I've been playing a lot of old games. I have an emulator on my DS that lets me play NES games on those. Playing a lot of Mega Man.
The DS emulator? Oh.
Yeah, it's something, what's it called, R4DS or
Oh.
something. My cousin gave it to me.
Huh.
Okay.
Giving it to stuff like teaches you how to create the profile.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
you did
giving
the...
the 3 keys to the stoplight, it teaches you how to make the profile.
That it does.
And that was the secret message. Wow. Nice.
Notice it also
I-
played the title theme victory music.
Yeah.
Traffic lights.
Well, then how do you set it on fire?
There's 2
Oh, how do you set
traffic
the
lights.
traf-
Did the other one give you a different message?
Well, how do you set the traffic light on fire? Just talk to it.
I forgot. I thought that was the trick.
Okay.
Do I have the...
So,
This is based off of something I found online. My cousin helped me do the... It's got to be under the... Oh, here it is. Here's what the reference to the traffic light on fire is from.
Demon
I didn't learn
with his
about this in
eyes
driving school.
Oh.
Sauron knows your license plate. Stares into your soul.
No.
Also note that the poster looks concerned too.
so that the potato poster you sent in the, like,
Sad Spud.
yeah, the Sad Spud poster, was that taken out of the 4th game?
Yeah, intentionally. The idea, because it's, Teresa's, it's a dream version of it, so, things aren't quite the same, like, the hallway is now a spacey thing, doors are barred, and, I wanted the poster to be something different as well. And but this poster, this is all my cousin's work. And in fact, Sad Spud has a funny story behind it.
Uh-huh.
Ever heard of the Game Boy game Quirk the Chilled Tomato?
Quirk the Chilled? No, never.
Well, it's a localization of a game called Puzzle Boy. And Puzzle Boy was actually a potato instead of tomato. And I was telling my cousin about this, and he was like, no, he wasn't. And before he would let me show him the different sprite, he wanted to draw what he imagined a potato version of Quirk looked like, and that was the result.
This looks like that. Oh, what's it called? I think it might have been Pepsi, like a Pepsi game. Or it was like High C, something like that. On the Nintendo, like, Nintendo 64. Man, I don't remember.
Pepsi Man?
No, it wasn't Pepsi Man. It was something else. But you had to collect, like, discs. I don't know.
Was it Chomp with the gummy lifesavers?
I really don't remember.
There was like a whole list of video games based off like food.
All I
Cool
Area
spot.
of a
all I
That
was
remember
not
is they would surf around and like it was kind of like a surfer thing that like tried to make the brain.
It sounds like Cool Spot. Cool Spots is the 7-Up mascot.
Cool Spot.
I like 7-Up.
Yeah, it's a red circle with
It
glasses.
might have been Cool Spot. To be real.
Wears cool sunglasses like the sun in the desert.
Yeah, Chex Quest is like
Yep.
the best game.
Yep. Yep. It was Cool Spot. I played Cool Spot a lot back when I was little.
I remember playing that.
Do you know Chex cereal?
Chex?
Check? Yeah.
Delicious.
Yes. Do you know Chex Quest?
No.
No.
Okay.
It's Doom, but with checks.
It literally is. It was Chex approached this advertising company. It's like, we want you to make a game. And how to
It
describe
looks
it?
like Doom.
It runs on the Doom engine. You can actually play Doom levels with textures.
And it focuses more on being a good game instead of just an advertisement.
Did they do a
Yeah,
remake?
They actually did updates on it, and I think they did do a remake.
Like, I see the 2D one, but now I'm seeing, like, 3D, like, re-renderings of it. So that's pretty cool.
I'd have to wait for the stream to actually catch up. It was a free download from a website, but I don't know where that website went.
It got a free HD remake. Yeah.
Huh, cool. But yeah, all of your health kits are like food, vegetables, water, and you're not killing things, you're teleporting them back to their own dimension.
Yeah.
And it's entirely kid-friendly, but it's a first-person shooter of the Doom engine. And, like, the chainsaw is a electric spork.
That's a spoon.
You use a spoon instead of a knife. It's just hilarious.
Okay.
But yeah, there's 3 whole episodes of it, and it was released for free on a website. I think it was like checksquest.com, but when I went to check it, I couldn't find the website.
Mm-hmm.
But I have all 3 episodes in zip format, so I could just hand those off after the stream.
Chex Quest.
It's so much fun.
Also, check out the sprites he posted.
Yeah.
Hey, is it not available anywhere online?
It should be.
Hey, here they are.
I mean,
play Chex Quest 1 through 3 for free.
Yeah, it is
The
free.
zip file.
I just
Yeah.
couldn't find the website.
Yeah.
But yeah, the image that I posted, that's every possible interaction with the table in episode 2. That's every sprite.
Oh. Right.
Look at all this stuff you can put the nail polish on.
All the different amounts of water, and does each one of these different combinations come with a different examination quote?
Yep, I think so.
Does the quote change
Man.
if the bathing suit's on the couch or not?
Oh, the bathing suit's always there unless she puts it on at the ending. Unless you ever go skinny dipping.
But she said another time for skinny dipping.
Oh, the way you do that is you gotta completely empty your inventory except for the hat, and then you do the undress command.
I'll put up a zoomed out safe version of the entire sprite sheet for episode 2. There's a lot of images.
Oh. There are a lot of images.
It contains everything that's not a background.
Huh.
So it's like, all the spoilers. That's why I, shrunk it down.
Okay.
Okay. Well.
Also, these sprites, everything in the lower left is basically unused stuff. Like I was practicing with sprites or stuff. That's why you see like some white unsketched stuff and stuff.
Oh. That's really cool. That's a lot of sprites, though.
If I had the one for episode 4.
Okay, well,
I can send it to
I
you in
have,
a separate
I have
thing.
officially ran out of questions. Jeb, David.
Well, I'm just
Actually,
impressed
that's
by the sprite count. This is insane.
That's only episode 2.
I'm sending Sky to episode 3.
Alright. Well,
The episode 4 one doesn't even have all the sprites in it. I had to make some of the much longer optional sequences use big sprites, so I had to make a separate thingamadiddly something or other.
A separate sprite sheet?
Yeah, which is why episode 4's sprite sheet looks smaller, kinda. I don't know.
Did not experience at all. I don't recognize a lot of these sprites.
Here's
Jesus.
a shrunken episode 3.
Oh,
And I'll give you the shrunken episode 4.
yeah, let's show these off, and then I'm out. Like, I'm out of questions. So, unless you guys have other things to talk about.
I
think we
do.
get into here. You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's a pretty big one. It's probably the most controversial. I'm trying to save it for the ending. I just want to know your thought process on this decision on chapter 1, the first episode. When you save the little girl, you take her back to the mom. You're allowed to, and like, there's some ways that you're allowed to like kiss her, hug the little girl, tickle her and stuff. I just want to know the thought process on making that decision, because that can be controversial to a lot of people.
Because it's cute stuff I like to see in non-sexual situations.
Yeah, but
Basically.
a lot of people could really take it as like.
Well, it's their fault for seeing it as sexual.
Yeah, that's like how people. Yeah, it's kind of like some people will even say that all women are sexual. So that mean all women should hide away? No.
No, but still, like it's still kind of like.
Well, he also
a little
mentioned
bit for like a 28 or however.
he also mentioned that the he intentionally made episode 1 quote unquote like the worst for it,
Yeah, I know.
and
I know
everything
it got
past that's
better.
easier.
Yeah, I know it got better. I just wanted to know the thought process on
Yeah.
the decision.
Going
A lot
off
of
of that, I did actually receive I don't know what you would call it on Discord, but I got a DM from somebody who just popped into the stream. They were saying, like, bad things about your game.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that because. Yeah, I think it's. I'm thinking it's because they get, they come in with their own ideas of what it is, or they're so used. I think it's maybe they're so used to everything being sexualized, so they always automatically assume, anything like the people who think, oh, anything with anthro characters is obviously sexualized, which no.
Yeah, that's not what I'm trying to point at. It's just.
Walt Disney,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
like their entire thing is based off anthro characters. But yeah, that's made my job as the public relations guy a little hard because I have to deal with that.
Yeah, hard. Cause, like,
Can you forward that PM to me?
I don't want to dox the guy who sent it to me, but I'll forward you the message he sent me.
Yeah, just off screen. I want to see the text so I can have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's the first episode. And, like,
I don't think they
seeing
played
that is
anything
like
else.
a bad like first impression game with like stuff like that for a lot of people.
For the best first impression, I think episode 3 would be the one.
Yeah.
Because 4 kind of goes off the rails with dream logic, but
Yeah.
that's the point.
Dream logic was insane. You was explaining away everything with dream logic. Oh, that's hilarious.
What? Plot hole.
Yeah,
Dream
any-
logic.
Yeah, any inconsistency. Dream logic. It's like, I'm gonna be in the real world in one of your future games, and it's gonna say something happens, and it's gonna be like, dream logic? Question mark. And I'm like, wait.
Not in a non-dream.
My favorite line is, because reasons. I think that's from Borderlands 2.
I think this too. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Torg screams that at you, because reasons!
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I would say there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I want to see not. How do I put it? I just don't like sexual content stuff, and it annoys me that, especially in this day and age, a lot of things that should be looked at innocently are not be because people are like, oh, well, there are people out there who look at it badly, and it's like there's people who look at anything badly, and if you constantly think that, you're never gonna create anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
things
but
that should be
But we
innocent.
live in a world where bad things like that really do happen.
Like, I think
Yeah,
Sky
you
got the
couldn't
wrong
blame him
impression.
for-
Like, I think Sky got the wrong impression of us when he, like, first rewatched the video. Because I truthfully thought, like, this game was going to be some random, like, furry game with a bunch of sexual hidden content, that type of thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I first started talking to you and you did the improv interview, it's like, oh wait, you guys are kind of serious. But it was after we had that hour-long talk that I went back and I saw your playthrough, and you got stuck in the first room. Then I started hearing the comments. It's like, I'm glad I met you after seeing this.
Yeah. But
that's
I think anybody needs to give, like, if somebody's watching and they haven't tried one of these games, they need to try to, like, at least give it a try. You never know what you're going to find. The most I could say is I don't know how specific the Steam tags are for the game.
Yeah, there are some tags there that are there. Someone had put the horror tag on there at one point.
But normally when you're looking at a game,
Wow.
like even Farnham Fables, the first picture it's showing a lizard lady, and the first thing somebody's going to see is probably the breasts, right? Just as the average viewer. And modern day, when you see a anthropomorphic thing, the average thought is this is some sort of, like, furry fan fiction, whatever. especially when something that can be perceived as sexual is the front display picture, right?
True.
Like, I understand
Fun
that
fact.
wasn't the intention, but with that being like what people first see, I hope you can understand where the confusion would come from.
Yeah.
Well, I do understand the confusion. Like, I don't entirely blame people for getting the wrong idea at first. It's, like I say, it's more what annoys me is when I see like some of the other videos where they go into it and they don't even, they've already decided that it's going to be bad, and they just don't, they don't read any of the stuff, and
Yeah.
they just assume the worst and don't even try.
Which kind of is what you guys did a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't have to say
That's
anything,
taste
but-
in my mouth in like episode 2.
Because when you skipped the text that told you how to solve the puzzle, it's like,
Exactly. I went through the problems
dude.
and I came back,
would-
played it again, and I understood. That's why I'm
I
able
was
to say I
playing it-
like the game.
Yeah, because we
The
fucking
time Michael
we
was,
shitpost a
but I was
lot,
reading
and
everything,
fucking
so he
thought
had
this
finished
was
the
just a
second
random
one,
game,
and
so-
I had just like halfway through the first one. It was
I still think that's probably the best because it gave us a really good example of how things work. And, if you actually pay attention to the depth of this game, that we already said it would take days or weeks or centuries to go through every possible interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The depth is absolutely immense on these games.
It really is. Even like the first one, I was about the fucking pebble, how you could like throw it, like interact.
Throw it at everything.
I kept trying to throw the pebble at the duck because the duck was mean to me.
And it's a grumpy duck. But the duck's story will be complete in episode 8, where he does get another friend duck, and then there's 2 grumpy ducks in the lake.
Oh, yeah, more grumpy ducks. I need them.
More grumpy duck in the lake. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I think I've accomplished everything I've wanted to accomplish here. We've gotten done. Like, we've went through a lot of questions. Like, I've had 2 entire pages worth of questions, and we've went every single one of them.
More!
Yay.
I don't have
More
more.
rambles.
Jeb, do you have anything you would like to ask before we go?
I've just basically been filling in anything that I've thought about. Anytime I've thought about it, like
No questions for me?
make us the NES game. Make us the NES game, and leave some like Russian Easter eggs in the 25th game or whatever, because I like Russian, and it's like I've learned a little Russian, so I want it. Give it to me.
Well, I am going to ask my
And make
publisher.
the NES game. I'm gonna harass
wants
you
to
until you
flex
give me
his
the NES
Russian.
game.
You want
I am going to ask my publisher for text translations and stuff, because I want authentic Russian appearing. And the fact that
like Cyrillic alphabet and all that.
I don't understand Russian, but Fludor does, and I always imagine that Fludor speaks Russian like the word choices he used sounds like someone native, but you can tell by his accent that he's not Russian. That's how I always imagine it. But I don't know how Russian sounds, so I can't imitate it.
Kind of like the difference between Mexican Spanish and Spain Spanish.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. What about you, David? You have anything final you want to leave it off on?
I don't know. I'm good.
You good?
I got it all off.
No questions for me?
No.
Dude.
I mean, we're
But I'm the big friendly dragon.
You're the guardian dragon who has done so much good for me, and that's why you're second in command.
exactly.
Oh, it is
How
easier to
hard-
work
how
from
hard-
behind.
PR work this game.
What?
How hard is like the PR work, like in general? How hard is it?
I've had to deal with a number of people who are very closed-minded. My security on the Discord has actually been pretty darn good. We've only had like 3 trolls join, and one of them we actually changed the mind of, which was
Awesome.
yeah. Because again, it's
impressive.
to me it's pretty cut and dry. Andrew has no sexual interests. He's asexual. So there you go. Problem
Hear
solved.
that, everyone? Asexual. Leave him alone.
Porn
Stop
is
harassing
icky.
the Discord.
Well, we've been pretty lucky. I said we only had like 3 trolls. I think we get like so many bots I mean, I have a very, very, very simple test to get onto the Discord, but the bots fail because,
Yeah.
They just
I was confused for a second there when I was like, your server dead? What's going on?
No, the server's...
I gotta.
I might not be nearly as smart as Andrew at programming, but I really understand computers. I basically live on them.
Yeah.
So I was able to tweak the server to exactly how I wanted it to behave.
Oh, that's what's up.
It'd be a good server, and I like it.
Okay. Well, time to do the outro.
Ooh, what's the outro? Is it a song or a dance or something?
No, I don't have a song or a dance. I'm not that goofy.
I wish I could dance.
I just got a bland outro. If one of you want to say something, like, do you want to put anything out to the community before?
Yeah, you could advertise
Before we're
yourself,
done?
man.
Yeah, advertise.
If you like Farnham Fables, play Farnham Fables. If you like it, and then play it. There's a sentence there. You can put it together like a spilled pile of Legos.
Yeah.
Oh, episode 4 is on itch.io.
Yeah, let me pull that up really quick.
Because, we need more people playing episode 4. For some reason, it's not on Steam.
Well, there is. There's a reason for that. That's actually probably something that probably could have been questioned. So, the reason for this whole tape thing. So, I got episode 1 on Steam, and when I got the second one done, I was planning on having it be, another release thingy. But my publisher said, "Oh, we agree." The publishers, my publisher said, "Oh, well, we had already told Steam that it was going to be DLC part of this one. After that'll be fine." I was thinking, oh, wait a minute. This can be like the old days where a TV series was on VHS tapes and you'd buy them and it would be like 3 episodes at a time. Why don't I do that here? Have the Steam releases be like, tape 1 will have episodes 1, 2, and 3. Tape 2 is going to have 4, 5, and 6. And, so I did that with, 2 and 3, but I had to do this awful DLC method, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So when is...
What's even worse?
Oh, go ahead.
Nothing. What's even worse about it? It's the worst kind of DLC ever. On-disc DLC.
Oh, yeah.
And you get these
Back when
.vhs...
Halo 2 was big. The only way to get the new maps was like buy a fucking disc. It's a fucking thing.
The only reason it's that is I had to do it that way. There's .vhs files that unlock it. So I decided that for tape 2, I want to at least wait until I get episode 5 finished, so that I can release tape 2, and when you buy it, you get the 3 episodes right away. You don't have to do DLC buying. So when I get 5 done, I'll be able to release it and say, okay, episode 6 is definitely coming, which it's definitely coming no matter what. But I don't want to force people. It makes sense to be doubtful of game developers. A lot of people, they don't finish what they start, and
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to, but it's a tall order.
You won't promise a time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a tall order to expect people like, I'll get it done, guys, I promise. I mean, I mean it, but I'd rather prove that I mean it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work doing all of these options. It's obviously going to take you a lot of time. I mean, the 4th game is done, the 5th game is in progress, and the 6th game, have you begun working on that yet?
Yeah, actually, like I've done some of the back. Oh, I could actually show you an incomplete background so you can kind of see what my process is like. Here's one where I'm still sketching over a place that unfortunately doesn't exist anymore because a month or so ago there was this big fire that knocked out everything you see on the right there. That there was some science reading room place that, well, in episode 6 I'm going to make it a restaurant instead, and the other side is still going to be a bakery. But you can see how it's it's a photo that I'm pixeling over.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
And the same with this section 2, which, well, this one's a little more done. I just gotta fix the signs and the Windows stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real place, or it was before the fire.
Oh, rest in peace. Rest in peace.
The only recreation.
Oh, at least this library still exists.
Not for long.
But this town hall doesn't. In fact, at some point, I keep meaning this. I need to go down to the library, and I need to get a photo of how the police station used to look, because it's just like this town hall doesn't look like that anymore. It was torn down, I think, in '97, and I just cannot, for the life of me, find a photo of the old police station. So my idea is I'm going to go to the library and say, "Can I look at all your microfilm newspapers from '90s or something?" And there's got to be a photo of it somewhere that I can use.
There's the level of detail that he goes and puts into the game.
That's great.
I think that is actually pretty good note to end this on.
Aw,
You're a
I don't want
pixel
it to end, but
worker,
I'm
guy.
unsure what else to say.
That's fine, that's fine. You gave me a ton of information. This has been a great interview. You both have been
It really
amazing
has.
guests.
Let me
Yay!
know if there's more of need of text and words later, because I love doing.
Maybe we'll do another interview when you release the second volume.
Yeah.
Yay!
So, hard at work, I guess.
Yayificationalizationifyings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa.
I like to weird words.
I do too, bro.
Very nice.
Supercalifragistic.
Now I get to hear the outro for the first time.
Ooh, outro!
I don't think there's like a very definitive outro, to be honest.
My old
Ooh, that's
outro is the
funny.
ultimate showdown.
Thank you for
So would
coming,
mine
everybody,
be.
to the Hat Channel. We have enjoyed your audience. Thank you for any texts in the chat. Thank you for all your support toward Farnham Fables. If you ever want to download this game, you can find it on itch.io by searching Farnham Fables. You can also find it on Steam for the first through third episode. I would very much recommend the fourth episode if you haven't tried the game before, or the third episode by Sky's opinion. That would be the best for a new player. The first and second games, they're fun, but those are the two that I feel I've enjoyed. But thank you all for watching. This has been a great stream. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, David.
Yay,
Thank you, Jim.
thankies.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.